shadows gather where the truth once stood. A kingdom of confusion carved out of falsehood. But he walks through the ruins like a prophet reborn. A voice wanted fire, a mic on this door. The chaos watches with an all-seeing glare. Guardian of reason in a world unaware. When the overlord stalls at the edge of the frame, the faithful rise up, they already know his name. I'm here to resurrect the second coming of common sin. I come to wake the sleeping, the church will bring the fed. Immortals, no illusions, no hollow in compare. He's here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Thinking truth from the wreckage, raising dawn from the dead. Every word is a weapon, shot men declare. Exposing every shadow we pretend not to fear. And the overlord rises with the suffering command. A beast of judgment, the Lord will give his dead. On his growl rings through the silence of the night. The loyal understand, trigger keeps the battle is right. I'm here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. I became the chaos of found weapon test. Strong against the darkness, rising defend. He's here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Now you're head to the beast that controls the dust. It's in yellow reason with a ball-crushing bark. If his bull runs empty, the shadows will consume. The world cracks open, usher it down. So with the command, don't deploy an accord. If you know what's good, feed Morty the overlord.
Welcome back to the party, everybody. This is Morty, and I am your host, Lutch, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Everybody hit that like and subscribe. You know I would do it for you, and let's party. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We got Dig Johnson in the building. Shout out to Liberty Plus TV over on the Verdes. We got Lone Wolf and Cub, Bethy Crazy, and what is going on? Waco Mind. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the party, guys. So the game plan for tonight is a little review. Did I lose that debate? According to the judges and the audience, it was a tie. But I did get MVP. So we're gonna go through it and we're gonna see, what did I do right? What did I do wrong? Shout out to Equality and Deference because Regina over on Rumble. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Little Morty update for you guys. We were at the vet today and his heart is getting bigger, which is not a good thing. He's not like the Grinch. We don't want an enlarged heart to be getting bigger. So if I'm a little not as on it today, then, you know, shit's going down. Don't forget that every single donation comes with a treat for the Overlord. Look how fucking cute he is. He ain't here for a long time, but we're going to make it a good time. So let's dive right into this. If you are looking for it, I should have. Actually, let me do that right now. Let's do my debate at 1:18. Good enough. I think it was 27, but whatever. Smart move. I'll clip that eventually, but yeah. So I thought we were gonna be. Yeah, that'll be fine. I thought I was gonna be first, so I thought I was gonna be the first one up. So I thought I was ready to go. And I'd mix this up with shout out to Speakeasy, who may or may not be debating this Wednesday. So look out for that. But on his platform, it is a 10-minute opening and then, an hour debate. I knew that Horseradish, the platform that we're about to watch, I knew that wasn't an hour-long debate. So I don't know why I thought to make a 10-minute opening statement. But I thought it was pretty good. But then it was like, wait a minute. 3-minute openings. Oh, all right. Okay. Well, we're going to have to do it on the fly. So without further ado, as always, if you cannot hear the video, please do let me know. The prompt on the screen is not correct. What we were debating was, is 2A, the Second Amendment, is it meaningless if it cannot be used against a tyrannical government? That was the question. And I said, no, it's not meaningless. And my opponent said, yeah. So let's see.
Both of the debaters, at some point, I heard them both say to someone or someones, am I missing something here?
You gay.
I feel like this is an easy win.
All right. So if you weren't there, then wow, I didn't realize that my mic was that much louder. But I have them muted. You could look in the corner here. Whenever I'm talking and that mute thing is there, that means that I was talking to the chat. I was talking to you guys. And then obviously when I'm not muted, then they can hear me. So we had our own little side quest. Let me figure out what to do with the chat here. We can make it wider and we can make it bigger. Do we like that? Let's see, because the chat from the stream itself is going to be here. We'll play with it. We'll see what's good. All right. Oh, so maybe it's me.
I'm really excited because that means that both of y'all understand your positions well. I'm also going to say that I'm very excited to see these two debaters go at it. I'm always excited about every one of the pairings that I have, but this one in particular,
I hate it.
Is near and dear to my heart. Hate it. We have Lutch, the Indian Jesus,
so
in the top left corner is the affirmative.
All right.
And we have Let's Chief, one of our resident judges, in the bottom center, who is going to be on the negative. And the prompt is, the Second Amendment is meaningless if it cannot be used to defend against a tyrannical government.
And Equality says, meaningless would be a stretch. One could make the argument that the Second Amendment had defense against tyranny as its primary goal. Well, what do you know? That's exactly what I argue. Like I said, debates reflect ideas. The winner or loser mentality is more associated with a battle arena like a coliseum. Bingo. I agree. I don't necessarily care what these people are saying, who the winner and loser is. I'm more concerned about, the people, you guys in general. My goal here isn't to cozy up to judges. It's to present ideas that I think are proper, correct, whatever, against someone else who doesn't think that they are, and see what happens.
I'm going to read that one more time because the wording is intentional. The Second Amendment is meaningless if it cannot be used to defend against a tyrannical government.
So it's me versus this guy. So he is behind the chat. Let's see if we pull that over. If we pull it taller, no. Regular. Definitely can't do that. Whatever. Okay, you guys decide if you care about seeing his face more, if you care about seeing your own chat more.
So, with that said, everybody tune in, sit down, listen up, and remember, you're going to be voting at the end of this. So, so everybody take notes. And
or should I just turn it off so you guys could see what the chat was actually saying during the thing? That's what I'm going to do. And if anybody really wants the chat up, then we'll do that. But other than that, I think sometimes you get a little, there's a little excitement seeing what the people were saying.
And remember, you're going to be voting at the end of this. So everybody take notes. And everybody else who's in the panel, while you're muted, feel free to talk. Feel free to talk to your audiences and stuff like that. Don't talk to us because mute, but whatever. But just remember, in the after party, you guys are going to be discussing these topics with us as well. So you're going to get to weigh in and yell and fucking whatever. So, all right, Mr. Lutch, are you ready, sir?
Yeah, a slight note, I mixed up the formats and I thought we had a 10-minute opening, so I gotta rejigger it, but yes, I am ready.
No worries. Let's Chief, are you prepared with a 10-minute opening as well?
Because guy down here.
I'll just give you all each.
Yeah, let's see.
You know what? They're not going to start the timer, Lutch, until you're ready. So if you want to take a moment and just
if you do need to take a
little bit.
If I had tried to take the time to be like, okay, I have this thing, let me try to cut it down to 3 minutes, I would have needed way more time than I had to do. So I just went through it, and actually, let's open, because I emailed it to myself, but we made some whatchamacallit it. Let me make sure we're good here. Good. Yeah. So we had, let me just double check that. Yeah. So I had this whole thing written out. I'm like, oh, this is good. And so what I wanted to say, the resolution was not about, but well, actually, let's play it first, and then we'll see what the whole thing should have been. Yeah, no,
I'm able to.
That's totally fine.
I'll make two. And professional scenario will again.
Well, all right. And remember, when it actually gets to the clock, I'm going to hold my finger up. About 15 seconds later, you get the 15 after that, you get this, and then, like I said, you try to get there as quickly as you can. But again, I'm going to do my best to not interrupt y'all when you're cooking. So.
If 2A can be used as justification for killing someone after the fact, it creates big contradictions in the narrative of America First ideology. What do you mean killing someone after what fact?
All right, Lutch, 3 minutes is on the clock, sir. Give us that opening. It'll start when you are ready.
All right, so this is not about whether violence is good or if guns are dangerous or whether or not modern society is different from the time of the revolution. I specifically catered it for 8 minutes so that I could slow down and be very dramatic, but I had to do this. It's about the specific question whether the Second Amendment is meaningless if it cannot be used to defend against a tyrannical government. And of course, the answer is yes. If that function is removed, the amendment still becomes meaningless in substance, even if the words still make a complete sentence. We have to go by the text itself. When to say a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. The first clause is not decorative; it's explanatory, and it tells us why we have the right. It's specifically the security of a free state. Shout out to Angry Ambient Day, who we're just in the chat calling out that dead air. You know, I hate that dead air. Welcome to the party czar. Not personal enjoyment, not even public safety. A free state is not threatened by deer, even if every car on a Jersey highway definitely is, nor is it threatened by burglars and gangbangers, but it is threatened by concentration of power, especially the military and political authority. This is the exact concern and why it's there. It was ratified less than a decade after the Revolutionary War, a revolution that was illegal, violent, and was directed against the lawful government of the time. The very people who wrote the amendment did this very thing. This is crazy that this is me reading fast. The fact that some people you guys have heard before that, like, when you're reading something out that other people can't see, you need to slow down, not speed up. People tend to be like, okay, I'm talking like this, and then Liberty Plus TV said I was going to watch the debate before the show, but can't find it in the video. We need to timestamp that shit. Like, whoa. You are seeing the words, but I am not. So, proud of myself there. Can you imagine how animated, how dramatic this would have been if I had my full-time government of the time? The very people who wrote the amendment did this very thing. Of course, the militias don't talk about standing armies. They are comprised of the people themselves, armed in their private capacity. The standing armies were seen as oppression, and the militias were the opposite, or the counterweight. So Madison was explicit in the Federalist Papers that it is a deterrent against federal overreach. It's not symbolic, it is practical. It rested on the understanding that ultimate force did not belong exclusively to the state. Every time you see my eyes flick up, I'm sitting here, and then I've got everything on my monitor, so I'm looking at the clock, like, all right, how much time do we got? It's on the understanding that ultimate force did not belong exclusively to the state. So this gets to what meaning is. I expect my opponent to focus on this and likely argue that even if the Second Amendment cannot be used against tyranny, it still has some meaning, perhaps hunting or sport or something else. But the constitutional meaning is not whether a right can be repurposed and whether we can change the words around and still get a sentence. It's about the function. A broken fire extinguisher still exists, but is meaningless as a fire extinguisher if it is broken. A vote that doesn't affect outcomes exists, but is meaningless. And similarly, the Second Amendment, without being able to fight tyranny, is meaningless. Some will argue that the resistance. This is me real-time editing my 10-minute thing. We'll skip that. If the government gets to decide when resistance is allowed against itself, then the resistance simply will never be allowed. A right that cannot be exercised when only be exercised when the government approves is not a right; it's a permission. Perhaps the argument is that modern democracy, courts, and elections and all that stuff make it obsolete, but those are not self-enforcing. All that stuff has to have the threat of violence behind it. Second Amendment was never meant to be the first line of defense. It was meant to be the last. It is not the, let's skip that. Deterrence only works if the possibility of resistance is real. A government that knows a right can never be exercised has no reason to fear that right. Let me be clear. Tell that to England. None of this is an endorsement of violence. It's the opposite. The entire purpose of deterrence is to present it. To strip the amendment of the core function while claiming it still has meaning is to preserve the shell while emptying it of substance and, dare I say, its meaning.
Good stuff.
There we go. So what it was supposed to be... Oh, what did I do with this shit? What it was supposed to be was the resolution before us is not whether violence is good or if guns are dangerous or whether modern society is different from the 18th century. The resolution is narrow and precise. Whether the Second Amendment is meaningless if it cannot be used to defend against a tyrannical government. My position is yes. If that function is removed, the amendment becomes meaningless in substance, even if the words would still be a complete sentence. We have to begin with the text itself because the Constitution is not a collection of vague sentiments. It's a legal document written with intent, structure, and hierarchy. We say again, well-read, blah, 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 shall not be infringed. We don't know that. That first clause is not decorative. It's not a preface for hunting, recreation, or sport. It's an explanatory clause that tells us why the rights exist. The reason is explicit. The security of a free state. I tried to, punch that at the end, but I was supposed to say it like 4 or 5 different times. So, it didn't work as well. But we made do. Then a free state is not threatened by deer. There was no way I was taking that line out. Not threatened by deer, even if every car on a Jersey highway definitely is. Nor is it threatened by burglars and gangbangers. It is threatened by concentrations of power, especially centralized military and political authority. That is the exact concern that defined the founding generation and why they put it in the Bill of Rights in the first place. And I added the first place after. Like I said, this was just the rough draft, came down, fix it up a little bit. 2A was ratified less than a decade after the Revolutionary War. A revolution that was illegal, violent, and directed against the lawful government of the time. The very people who wrote this amendment had themselves taken up arms against what they believed was tyranny. And importantly, the militias referenced in the amendment were not state-controlled standing armies. They were composed of the people themselves, armed in their private capacity. That distinction mattered deeply to the founders. Standing armies were seen as instruments of oppression. Citizen militias were seen as a counterweight. James Madison made it explicit in the Federalist Papers where he described an armed populace as a deterrent against federal overreach. The deterrent also was not symbolic. It was practical. It rested on the understanding that ultimate force did not belong exclusively to the state. This leads directly to the word meaningless, which I expect my opponent to focus on. People likely argue that even if the Second Amendment can't be used against tyranny, it still has some meaning, perhaps hunting, sport, or self-defense is mentioned. But the constitutional meaning is not about whether a right can be repurposed. It's about whether it can perform the function it was designed to serve. A broken fire extinguisher still exists, but it is meaningless as a fire extinguisher. A vote that never affects outcomes still exists, but is meaningless as a democratic right. In the same way, the Second Amendment cannot serve as a safeguard against tyranny, still exists, but is meaningless. The Second Amendment is also unique among the constitutional rights because it's not merely a personal liberty. It exists to protect all other rights. Speech, assembly, due process, and political participation all depend on the assumption that there's a final check against state violence. If the state alone holds a monopoly on force, then every other right exists at its discretion. Some will argue that resistance must always be lawful, but that position collapses immediately under historical scrutiny. Tyranny always criminalizes resistance first. Every authoritarian regime in history has used legality to justify oppression. If the government gets to decide when the resistance is allowed against itself, then the resistance would simply never be allowed. A right that can only be exercised when the government approves is not a right; it's a permission. My opponent hopefully won't bring up hunting. That was never even under threat by law until 1971. No other amendment exists to protect recreational activity, and hunting has nothing to do with securing a free state. Interpreting the amendment this way requires ignoring its text, its context, and its placement within the constitutional structure. That was another line that's like, God damn it, I really wanted to put that one in there, but hey, yeah, it's text, its context, and its placements within the constitutional structure. Perhaps the argument is not that modern democracy, perhaps the argument is that modern democracy, courts, and elections make armed resistance obsolete. But those mechanisms are not self-enforcing. Courts enforce laws through the state. Elections are administered by institutions that can be captured. History shows repeatedly that democratic functions can exist along authoritarian substance. So it was never meant to be the first line of defense. It was meant to be the last. Its value is not in its constant use, but its constant presence. Its primary function is deterrence. Power behaves differently when it knows there's a limit. I think this is the one we changed up a lot, right? Deterrence only works if the possibility of resistance is real. A government that knows a right can never be exercised has nothing to fear from it. I think I changed it to like nothing to fear from that law or something. Why are we not in dark mode? Whatever. That's annoying me. Anyway, okay, let's finish this up. So, when we ask whether the Second Amendment is meaningless without the ability to resist tyranny, the answer depends on what you think meaning is. If meaning is symbolic comfort, then sure, I can see that you can reword 2A and still find a syntactic sentence. Big L there. But if meaning is the capacity to fulfill the purpose explicitly stated in the text, the security of a free state, aka the substance of the question of this debate, then the answer is quite obviously no. Without fighting tyranny, 2A is meaningless. A right that disappears when it is needed most is not a safeguard, it's a decoration. The American Revolution was not a footnote to the Second Amendment. It was the reason for it. The founders did not design this right for ideal conditions. They designed it because they had lived through institutional failure, centralized power, and political abuse. Just as the First Amendment isn't just for the speech we like, the Second isn't only for that which is dictated by the state. To strip the amendment of the core function while claiming it still has meaning is to preserve the shell while emptying it of substance, and dare I say, its meaning. So that would have been a lot better than what I got, but hey, we do what we do. Carly said, chef's kiss for the opening statement. Well, dilly. Thank you. Right? Yeah, the Nazis, the Leninists, they all wanted to take away the arms of their people before they turned them into victims. Right? So that was what the opening statement was supposed to be. You saw what it really was. Let's dive back in and see how it really went.
2 minutes is on the clock for you now, Chief. Yeah.
Now so this guy now has 2 minutes to kind of cross-examine me.
No, well done. You were fighting yourself on that one. So 2 minutes is on the clock, Chief. Go ahead and cross-examine when you're ready.
The founding fathers, despite obviously believing in the right for people to engage in, declaring their own independence from a tyrannical government, when they set up the government, did they make it like a pathway for secession or rebellion, or did they outlaw it?
Did they give a specific pathway, or I actually don't know if there's a specific pathway, but that is exactly what our country is. So I think he's trying to establish that, like, well, according to the law, you're not allowed to secede.
Right. Our country is founded on that, yet they did not allow for a legal pathway for that to exist, right?
Right.
And
but
then,
if it's only what's legal, then, as I said in the opening, if we can only go by what's legal, then the revolution would have never happened. Is that a good thing, or is that a bad thing?
Can you cite any court case that upheld that individuals could lawfully attack government agents based on personal judgments of tyranny?
No. And so, like, that could have been let's say that I had some areas where it's like, okay, I've been actually looking into court cases about this, and we can get into the specifics of this case versus that case. But I'm making a philosophical argument. So the specifics of that, whatever he's appealing to, don't really matter to my argument. Lone Wolf said, someone tell the Taliban that America fought in Iraq and Afghanistan, that having small arms is pointless. Yep. Blair said, our police tell us to leave our car keys at the front door for thieves. You don't have guns, and the government literally doesn't enforce any property rights at all.
Haram!
Yep. No bueno. Quality said, if you say authoritarian and Andrew Wilson enough times, it gives him an erection. It's so funny. He put out a video today that was it was titled let's even see what the title was. It was like, so about Rogan, or what really happened on Rogan or something. It was it's like, so about Rogan, and it's a 25-minute video. So I'm thinking, like, oh, okay, this would be interesting. It was just him glazing Rogan and all the comedians he hangs out with. So it's like, I mean, I thought you were gonna give us a little bit more about Joe and the conversation, and maybe why you didn't really get too deep into the very obvious disagreements that you guys have. Old school Rogan, there would have been a debate, a religious debate. And hey, I'm not going to say that Joe is a better debater than Andrew, but you ain't taking no bullshit. Does anyone think Andrew paid to be on Rogan? Nah, I don't. I don't. I mean, I don't. I haven't thought that. And if you ask me without any other information, I would say that didn't happen. One, I don't think, like, what kind of money does Rogan need from some nobody to be on his show, right? Like, Rogan's already, fucky rich. So it would have to be some type of, like, I'll pay you, $50,000 or something like that. So I mean, no shade to Andrew and the Crucible, but I don't know if they got money like that. But yeah, I mean, Rogan said that he watches a lot of his content. He likes the debates, and love him or hate him, there's not a lot of people who are like Andrew Wilson. There's people who are like Andrew Wilson, but there's not, he's you got to give him credit for being unique. So I think he was there, legitimately. He definitely is a taint licker. And he didn't used to be. So weird. Wake up. This is another one of those days where I forgot that there's your profile picture isn't just a squirrel, it's an actual picture. I go back and forth. Anyway, okay, yeah, but there's still a lot of operating costs and stuff. So I mean, if I was making $35K a stream, then that's one thing, because that's just going in my pocket. I've got my camera already. I'm not really set up to do stuff out in the world and all that stuff. But Andrew does a lot of traveling. He's got a whole team. So what the fuck? Let's give it a little Let's give it a little wipe. I mean, it just needs a little wipe. Beautiful. He did, but that was also like a little bit kind of shitty. It was very clear that Dave was not realizing that that's what he stepped into. And so Andrew was just like, oh, I'm going to take the opportunity to win here instead of set up, a network where potentially we could have a really good Christian ethics versus non-aggression principle debate. He was like, I just want to take him down here. And so it was a little gay. It was a little gay. I mean, yeah, he won the debate, I guess, but I think that's in general, though. I think that's in general. He is older. He's getting boomerized. Remember, we were talking about myself with OBS getting boomerized, that I don't want to learn OBS and all that stuff. I think that there's a lot of Joe that's just settled into being the guy who is just like, yeah, whatever, let's just chat, you know? I mean, again, to you and me, free money is free money, but his life is chit-chatting and going on a stage and telling jokes. So I think he's up. I think he's good. Shout out to Lil Toes. Welcome. We were just talking about how Andrew Wilson was on Rogan. He did a nice little clickbaity video. Not really clickbaity, but he did a video about about Rogan. And then he was just it was just a story about, well, we were driving and, it was a storm and everybody was really nice. And then we went to the VIP and I thought there was going to be some juice there. But, oh my God, why do you guys do this? You get every single time. Somebody else answer. You know exactly what I'm going to say when there's a new story that's coming out and somebody says you should cover it. What am I going to say? I'm pretty sure it was you, Lil Toes, the last time that you said exactly the same thing, that there was something and you should cover it. And then I said the thing. What did I say to you? That was dumb. And then, of course, when they actually did sit down for the debate and he was like, oh, okay, I understand what we're here for. I mean, it went a lot differently. Depending on, who you are, you might say Dave won or Andrew won or whatever. But it certainly wasn't the blowout that it was when Rob Noor was there. And he's just like, what the fuck is happening? Yep. All right. Where are we? So we're halfway through the cross-examination. So this is my opponent cross-examining my position. We'll back that up a little bit, but it never happened. Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing?
Can you cite any court case that upheld that individuals could lawfully attack government agents based on personal judgments of tyranny?
No.
And then
shout out to Hector. Welcome. Just did this debate this weekend and checking it out.
Amendments exhaustive lists of everything you could do with a right.
Say that again. You are in the wrong place.
Is an amendment an exhaustive list of everything that you could use a right for?
No, obviously not.
Okay. Let's see.
Dead air.
I think that might be most of my questions for now. Oh, actually, who decides when a government has become tyrannical?
The people vote. I tried to set a trap for him. I tried to set the trap. Like, oh, we vote. So, you go and cast a vote. Whoa. I didn't say we vote by that, but he didn't fall for it.
Well, actually, who decides when a government has become tyrannical?
The people vote.
If they vote on it, how do they vote on it?
Well, either through our institutional systems, or if everybody decides F this, we're not doing this, then that's what the Second Amendment is explicitly for. And so it didn't hit as hard when he didn't fall into my trap. But yeah, Claudia said, is this guy a cyborg? Everybody here was a little less than animated. Let's say less animated than myself. We'll put it that way. Welcome to the club. We don't know what the fuck is going on. No, we are going over. No. We just started. I took a little side quest to talk about Andrew Wilson on Joe Rogan. Let's just fucking start the whole thing over. We're fucking 3 minutes in. Let's just go back. All right, take two.
But this one in particular,
yep, I hate it.
Is near and dear to my heart.
hate it.
We have Lutch, the Indian Jesus,
so
in the top left corner is the affirmative.
And so again, I was talking to you guys. Look at the mute button. Obviously, during the debate, I'm not going to be muting myself and talking to the chat as much, but that's how you know you hear my voice and I'm talking to you guys versus. All right.
We have Let's Chief, one of our resident judges, in the bottom center, who is going to be on the negative. And the prompt is, the Second Amendment is meaningless if it cannot be used to defend against a tyrannical government.
So that is
one more time because the wording is intentional. The Second Amendment is meaningless if it cannot be used to defend against a tyrannical government.
One more time. The prompt is, the Second Amendment is meaningless if it cannot be used against a tyrannical government. Yeah, I just made a video. We were just talking about how when I voted for Hillary, I know. I was like, you just go in and they didn't even ask for an ID. And I thought it was a good thing. So didn't ask for anything. Not in Jersey. How are you trying to resolve the trap? How are you trying to resolve the trap at this point back then? Well, I just meant when I just meant that I was trying to say, oh, you vote for it. And so that he would get off balance. Oh, you think you could vote for this? And I'm like, no, that's not what I said. And just to throw him off. But he didn't bite on it. So I was just saying, no, when there's no clear definition of, okay, now we're in tyranny. Now it's okay. And so he's trying to set up that, how do we determine if you are saying, he's saying to me, if you, Lutch, are saying that it is okay for the for 2A to be used in the case of defending against a tyrannical government, then how do we determine when that time comes? And that's a very interesting question, but that's a very different question than whether or not it can be used for tyranny in the first place. And so I'm trying to stay focused on that while he's trying to go on all these different routes. All right, I'll grab a couple of these. I don't want to keep breaking up the debate too much, but you know, it's this show. That's how we do, right? Voting left or right? I'm voting my left and right. I like that. That's a good one. Shout out to Morgan's Hammer over on Rumble. Welcome. Said liked and shared. Thank you. So very, very much. You guys know how much that stuff really does help. It's free. It's easy. It just takes 1 second. And even if you don't think anybody's going to click on the link, just by you telling YouTube, X, or whatever, Twitch, or Rumble, wherever the fuck you are, by telling them that you want more people to see it, they will show it to more people. Mr. J Dambro said you first have to have people that are willing to stand up against the tyrannical government. We don't seem to have that yet. And again, I agree. Nor I also don't think that we are at that place where we should be rising up as the people with arms against the government. That doesn't mean that time can't ever come. And of course, we look at the American Revolution. Shout out to Mjolnir. Welcome. Said, read Thomas Paine Common Sense and you understand what currency is explained in detail. Fair enough. All right, let's get back in here.
Meaningless if it cannot be used to defend against a tyrannical government. So, with that said, everybody tune in, sit down, listen up. And remember, you're going to be voting at the end of this. So everybody take notes. And everybody else who's in the panel, while you're muted, feel free to talk. Feel free to talk to your audiences and stuff like that. Don't talk to us because mute, but whatever. But just remember, in the after party, you guys are going to be discussing these topics with us as well. So you're going to get to weigh in and yell and fucking whatever. So, all right, Mr. Lutch, are you ready, sir?
Yeah, a slight note, I mixed up the formats and I thought we had a 10-minute opening. So I got to rejigger it. But yes, I am ready.
No worries. Let's Chief. Are you prepared with a 10-minute opening as well?
Hell no.
I'll just give you all.
In case you missed it, I mixed up the formats. It was supposed to be a 3-minute opening, but I wrote a 10-minute opening.
Yeah,
whoopsies.
No. You know what? They're not going to start the timer, Lutch, until you're ready. So if you want to take a moment and just
if you
trim
need
the
to take
fat a little bit.
Yeah, no,
I'm able to.
That's totally fine.
I'll make two.
Yep.
I'll make two. And worst case, beat you anyway.
Right. And remember, when it actually gets to the clock, I'm going to hold my finger up.
What's wrong with rejigger?
About 15 seconds later, you get the 15 after that, you get this. And then, like I said, you try to get there as quickly as you can. But again, I'm going to do my best to not interrupt y'all when you're cooking.
Guys, don't forget Morty is chilling, just back from the vet, and large heart, not doing well, would love some treats. Remember, every single donation comes with a treat for Morty.
So. All right, Lutch, 3 minutes is on the clock, sir. Give us that opening. It'll start when you are ready.
All right, so this is not about whether violence is good or if guns are dangerous or whether or not modern society is different from the time of the revolution. It's about the specific question whether the Second Amendment is meaningless if it cannot be used to defend against a tyrannical government. And of course, the answer is yes. If that function is removed, the amendment still becomes meaningless in substance, even if the words still make a complete sentence. We have to go by the text itself. When to say a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. The irony of that, it just speaks for itself, right? The first clause is not decorative, it's explanatory, and it tells us why we have the right. It's specifically the security of a free state, not personal enjoyment, not even public safety. A free state is not threatened by deer, even if every car on a Jersey highway definitely is, nor is it threatened by burglars and gangbangers, but it is threatened by concentration of power, especially the military and political authority. This is the exact concern and why it's there. It was ratified less than a decade after the Revolutionary War, a revolution that was illegal, violent, and was directed against the lawful government of the time. The very people who wrote the amendment did this very thing. Of course, the militias don't talk about standing armies. They are comprised of the people themselves, armed in their private capacity. The standing armies were seen as oppression, and the militias were the opposite, or the counterweight. So Madison was explicit in the Federalist Papers that it is a deterrent against federal overreach. It's not symbolic; it is practical. It rested on the understanding that ultimate force did not belong exclusively to the state. So this gets to what meaning is. I expect my opponent to focus on this and likely argue that even if the Second Amendment cannot be used against tyranny, it still has some meaning, perhaps hunting or sport or something else. But the constitutional meaning, which it does, but is not whether a right can be repurposed and whether we can change the words around and still get a sentence. It's about the function. A broken fire extinguisher still exists, but is meaningless as a fire extinguisher if it is broken. A vote that doesn't affect outcomes exists, but is meaningless. And similarly, the Second Amendment, without being able to fight tyranny, is meaningless. Some will argue that we'll skip that. If the government gets to decide when resistance is allowed against itself, then the resistance simply will never be allowed. A right that cannot be exercised when only be exercised when the government approves is not a right; it's a permission. Perhaps the argument is that modern democracy, courts, and elections and all that stuff make it obsolete, but those are not self-enforcing. All that stuff has to have the threat of violence behind it. Second Amendment was never meant to be the first line of defense. It was meant to be the last. It is not let's skip that. Deterrence only works if the possibility of resistance is real. A government that knows a right can never be exercised has no reason to fear that right. Let me be clear. None of this is an endorsement of violence. It's the opposite. The entire purpose of deterrence is to present it. To strip the amendment of the core function while claiming it still has meaning is to preserve the shell while emptying it of substance, and dare I say, its meaning. Brilliant. Before we go on, let's shout out our boy, Angry Amputee, getting us started on that. So, whoa, go. Oh, and Morty gets a treat. Thank you. He's a little slow. I had to give him his medication so he didn't puke in the car. And, he's a little shook from the vet. But thank you. Of course, that makes you our new sponsor of the stream. And, of course, he is very, very much appreciative. Thank you. We got Section 230. Welcome. And Hector says, please overlord Morty with treats. I agree. Every single donation comes with a treat. Which Canada we go on legal immigrants? Well, you got to start with the illegals first. Jane Ann said the state is always free. The populace, on the other hand, is not. Well, that's why we need 2A, right? Yeah, there you go. That stuff really, when am I going to use this in my life? Well, wasn't there a thing a few years ago where the biggest, the most common job went from astronaut to YouTube streamer? This'll help. What are you talking about? Mjolnir. First paragraph of the Second Amendment is a statement of universal truth. It is not a reference to allowing your would-be tyrannical government the ability to restrict firearms and regulate them. Bingo. Yep. Shout out to Boggs. Welcome to the party. So you got stuck in a loop, in my opinion. It was still good, though. Going back to the points was the right move. I will internet fight you for better notes later. Fair enough. Box says, if you really want to own the position for the prompt, you have to talk about things that will get you put on a list, like armed rebellion. I was willing to go there. And because I thought he was going to come from the direction of, more like a more right-wing position and say that, like, oh, it's very bad to take up arms against the government. Look what's happening with look what happened to Alex Preddy. And so I thought he was going to come from that direction, in which case I would expect him to think that I was going to say, well, we're living in tyranny right now, and that's why it's okay. But we didn't get there. So let's see what actually happened.
Good stuff. 2 minutes is on the clock for you now, Chief. Yeah, no, well done. You were fighting yourself on that one. So 2 minutes is on the clock, Chief. Go ahead and cross-examine when you're ready.
The founding fathers, despite obviously believing in the right for people to engage in, declaring their own independence from a tyrannical government, when they set up the government, did they make it like a pathway for secession or rebellion, or did they outlaw it?
So he's asking, did they outline a specific way to secede from the nation? Did they give a specific pathway? Or I actually don't know if there's a specific pathway, but that is exactly what our country is.
Right. Our country is founded on that, yet they did not allow for a legal pathway for that to exist, right?
Right.
And
but
then,
if it's only what's legal, then, as I said in the opening, if we can only go by what's legal, then the revolution would have never happened. Is that anyone who is caught doing stuff they're not supposed to be doing, Epstein style, deserves to be buried under the prison? Good thing, or is that a bad thing?
Can you cite any court case that upheld that individuals could lawfully attack government agents based on personal judgments of tyranny?
No.
And then are amendments exhaustive lists of everything you could do with a...
Yeah, that's why he's a little slow. He's chilling. He's vibing. But those munchies.
And are amendments exhaustive lists of everything you could do with a right?
Say that again?
Is an amendment an exhaustive list of everything that you could use a right for?
No. Like I said, Texas has the right of secession written into the state constitution. Well, there you go. I wish I knew that. But again, the idea here was that he was trying to bring in all these practical aspects when I'm arguing an idea. The idea is that 2A is this. If you remove X from 2A, it is no longer 2A. And so regardless of all this, he tried to bring up court cases and what's outlined. And it's a philosophical thing. Welcome. We also got our boy Whereas Junkie. Welcome. Thank you so very, very much. Morty is loving the treats tonight. He really, really needs them. And he really, really loves you. Thank you. Welcome to the party. And yeah, you're never late. I'm here for you guys. Thank you so very, very much. And of course, that makes you the new sponsor of the stream. Anything for me? All you can do is picture cops without badges and uniforms and then tell me they aren't aggressors 99% of the time. And that's why I am pro-law and order, not pro-cop. I'm not a cab or anything, but I'm not pro-cop. Thank you again, sir.
Is an amendment an exhaustive list of everything that you could use a right for?
No.
Okay. Let's see. See if there's anything else.
So this isn't in terms of the format. I really like Horseradish's format. I really like the shorter debates because you don't have time to get into the weeds. It's really about, what is happening? What are we talking about? Let's talk about what we're talking about. I don't love the cross-examination. So you get your 3-minute opening, then there's 2-minute cross. And the other person does 3-minute opening and 2-minute cross. I don't really fully understand what the purpose of the cross is. Like, just give us 15 minutes open. Just 3-minute opening, 15-minute debate, 3-minute closing, bang, bang, boom.
Let's see. See if there's anything else I have. I think that might be most of my questions for now. Oh, actually, who decides when a government has become tyrannical?
This is another thing. Well, I was like, so now he's going to be like, well, a lot of the anti-ICE people are saying this is tyranny, so therefore it's okay that we take up arms against the government. The people vote. Again, that was my trap that he did not fall into.
If they vote on it, how do they vote on it?
Well, either through our, institutional systems, or if everybody decides, F this, we're not doing this, then that's what the Second Amendment is explicitly for, to the security of a free state. So when the free state is not secure,
institutions fail, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. 3 minutes is on the clock now for your opening, Chief.
All right.
No,
so
it's not. Now it is. Go ahead and start when you're ready.
Again, it's the guy down here giving his uninterrupted opening statement.
The value of our rights is not solely derived from the most extreme fringe uses, and the Second Amendment helps secure our population in normal everyday life, not just in rebellion or treason, which the Constitution explicitly rejects as a right. The second.
Say more on this, Mike. What do you mean that the 2A has the inherent flaw, the balance is never adhered to? Do you just mean in general, like too much gun control, or say a little more on that?
Or the Second Amendment helps secure our population in normal everyday life, not just in rebellion or treason, which the Constitution explicitly rejects as a right. The Second Amendment was written with militias overtly mentioned, which were actually organized by state governments at the time. But it has proven to mean much more than that, whether we're talking about hunters who in rural low-income states like West Virginia harvested more than 60 million pounds of wild game between 2012 and 2017, with about 3/4 of the total deer harvest taken with guns, or if we're talking about the ability for people to protect themselves, their family, and their communities.
You guys definitely should. Here, I'll drop I don't exactly know the like what the how you get set up in there, because he asked me, because I'm like, a professional and stuff. But here's a link to the Discord. So to the Horseradish Discord. Obviously, this is all done in Discord. Hit him up if you need me to vouch for you. I could definitely vouch for you, like you personally, or if I know you. But yeah, it's clearly not the major leagues, I mean, no shade to anybody, but I'm up there too. It's not the major leagues. This is definitely different than going on Speakeasy and debating Jim Bob. Very, very different. But yeah, anybody, this is a good place to start.
Ability for people to protect themselves, their family, and their communities, with annual self-defense gun uses occurring tens of thousands of times per year.
Well, yeah. Why wouldn't you? Why would you be upset with the cops if you've never experienced the cops being bad?
That's just kind of speaks for itself. All things considered, the affirmative argument is actually a false dilemma. Either the Second Amendment allows violent resistance to the government, which again, the Constitution itself rejects and no case law supports, or the Second Amendment has no purpose at all, which ignores every other legitimate, lawful use protected by the amendment.
Yeah, I didn't understand what he said, so we're gonna have to listen to that again. So Mike said that the inherent flaw is that the balance isn't adhered to. So fundamental point of 2A that has to be considered is, by the nature of its intent, anyone exercising it will be labeled a rebel by the powers that be. Hence, history written by the victors. And yeah, okay, so yeah, fully agreed with you there. And I think that this was the point that he was missing about like the legality aspect. The first thing he said was asking about whether or not that was built into the Constitution. And it's like, no, obviously not. Like, it's inherently rebellious. As stated, tyranny is always going to label resistance illegal.
When we discuss whether or not the Second Amendment can be used to defend against a tyrannical government, we can mean two things. Is it legal, and are we capable? Legally speaking, violent resistance to the state is prohibited. There's no court case granting the right to start shooting because of perceived tyranny, because we legally cannot use our Second Amendment rights against our perception of a tyrannical government. Would you say that right now the Second Amendment is and always has been meaningless, and there would be nothing lost if the population was disarmed? The second legs, are we capable? If we skip over the fact that institutions, like let's just say through voting, for example, more frequently and effectively defend against the government becoming tyrannical, civilian firearms just really aren't a realistic check on a modern military state. Did you mean that we should be capable of competing on an equal level in military engagement with more high-tech arms capable of far greater destruction? I'd argue that question lacks validity. So if by being capable, we're just asking if we have the ability to.
So again, guys, we can put the chat like this if you want. Well, okay. Well, now that he's over here, we'll do that so you guys can see yourselves.
Arms capable of far greater destruction. I'd argue that question lacks validity. So if by being capable, we're just asking if we have the ability to shoot back if unjustly aggressed upon, then any right to keep and bear arms gives us that ability. Even though violent resistance to the state is prohibited, the text of our Second Amendment reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. There's a lot of contention about the level of adherence to that text and how to interpret or apply some of it, but we all understand the Second Amendment in shorthand to mean our right to bear arms. If you find the right to bear arms to be meaningless under any particular condition, that to me says it would make no difference if you disarm the population or remove the right altogether. And unless...
I hate the vertical streams, and TikTok is amazing. But does anybody... I still don't understand what he meant by this. I'm going to throw it back. What exactly do you think he is saying? That my argument is akin to saying we should remove the right altogether. I don't understand what he is saying.
Tension about the level of adherence to that text and how to interpret or apply some of it, but we all understand the Second Amendment in shorthand to mean our right to bear arms. If you find the right to bear arms to be meaningless under any particular condition, that to me says it would make no difference if you disarm the population or remove the right altogether. And unless my opponent can conclude that the population would be no worse off being disarmed under any of these conditions you described as meaningless, you would actually agree with me that the Second Amendment has meaning far beyond the fringe case of participating in a revolution.
All right, so that is his opening statement, and I get 2 minutes of cross, and I just used it for you'll see more of my stuff. But Mjolnir is citing this said a militia composed of composition and classes. A, the militia of the United States consists of all able-bodied males at least 17 years of age, and except as provided in Section 313 of Title 32, under 45 years of age, who are or who have made a declaration. Why can't I fucking talk? Who have made a declaration of intention to become citizens of the United States, and of female citizens of the United States who are members of the National Guard. The organized militia consists okay, so we'll keep going up. And the idea that this is not a standing army. It's specifically not a standing army. My son actually said TikTok is another thing we should make. Nah, I mean, hey, look, when we're talking about teenagers, maybe it's best to keep them off all social media. But I'm a grown-ass man. All right. Mike said he believes that the removal of 2A is a moot point according to the legality of rebellion, which is true. But removing 2A disarms any rebellion before it can start. That's kind of what I thought. I'm like, I don't get what you're saying. Well, let's see. So here
meaningless. You would actually agree with me that the Second Amendment has meaning far beyond the fringe case of participating in a revolution.
Good stuff. 2 minutes on the clock now, Lutch.
Yeah, he's good. He's good. He's good. Let it ride. Let it ride. Let him show you all the cool based shit that he finds. And then you'll be like, Lutch was right again. Angry son, I say, TikTok on. But listen to your dad first. But TikTok on. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness gracious. Shout out to the Funk Master General. So very good to see you with the 10 gifted memberships. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So very, very much. I did not even drop the link to the Discord. Actually, let me put it this, and we'll do this. Thank you, thank you, thank you, sir. Welcome to the party. Always, always a pleasure to see you. And of course, guys, if you just got gifted a membership, make sure you join the Discord if you haven't already. You should already be in there. But even if you're not, it's free for everybody to join. And really working to get it pumped up. You could win money and stuff. And you know what? I'm not actually going to go there. You already failed it. But come and join the Discord. It is good. It is good. Funk is back. Funk is back. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so very, very much, sir. Let's see. Am I missing anything else? I'm going to keep putting these up. Mjolnir. Looking for legal documents for justification. Yeah, exactly. That was his first thing. This is his first thing. Like, what do you mean? The whole point is that it's not allowed. Shout out to Carl's Frosted Tips. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the party. So we've got the opening statements from both. Now I'm going to use my 2 minutes of cross-examination. Again, the prompt being, the Second Amendment is meaningless if it cannot be used to fight against tyranny. I am on the affirmative that it indeed is meaningless if we can't do that. And the other guy down here is my opponent.
Go ahead and hit him back.
Yeah, okay. I feel like, well, obviously, you wrote your opening before I talked, but I maybe, I was going through pretty quickly. Maybe I skipped something, but I feel like I addressed all of that. The militia is explicitly a different thing than standing armies. Had a whole thing about hunting that wasn't even brought up until almost 1800 with the English game laws, and the fact that we are talking about the revolution that was illegal, but that and again, that is why they put that in there. And so again, the line being, if we can only overthrow the government when the government says we can overthrow the government, I think that's going to work out pretty well in the government's way.
Did I say that?
I mean,
it sounds like you're just repeating your intro instead of asking me questions. Do you have anything about my intro that you'd like to inquire about?
So what is the relevance of legality if we're specifically talking about laws that are tyrannical?
What is the relevance of legality? What do you mean?
Stupid.
How you brought up legal stuff. I'm asking you the relevance of that legal stuff. And you're like, what do you mean? Hey, shout out to Carl's Frosted Tips. Oh, he's woken up now. Thank you so very, very much. Come on, man. Use your neck. I can't reach that far. There we go. Thank you. Carl has said, Second Amendment for life. Down with Islam. Agreed. Morgoth's Hammer said he is he's a word salad generating jackoff. The guy here. I'm gonna be talking shit, but has this guy ever heard of Al Qaeda? How did they do against our big bad military? Somebody else brought that up when I believe, was it Waco? You were saying like, oh, they have F-13s and F-25s and whatever the fuck it is. It's the notion of the threat that you do not. You may have a monopoly on legal violence, but you do not have a monopoly on violence itself.
What is the relevance of legality? What do you mean?
Why is it? You were talking about how the Constitution doesn't say that it's legal to do this, but it specifically states to the sanctity of a free, the security of a free state. So that is not a legal thing. If we decide as the people that the government is doing stuff that they passed into law, that is tyrannical.
Well,
So Box said, that's a loop I was talking about. I'm not sure what we're trying to pin him to right now. Well, we're not trying to pin. Oh, well, I mean, I wasn't really, again, I don't really fully understand like what the 2 minutes is for, other than to debate. So, I mean, I guess I was just like, I have a bunch of other stuff here that I wanted to say that I didn't say. So I'm just going to put it out there and see where we go. So, I mean, you're right in the sense that I didn't have a clear direction, but the debate hadn't really started yet. So I'm really just, I'm really just at the point of trying to figure out where is he coming from so that when we go into the opening debate, I know what the fuck is going on. Shout out to Nate. The people voted for this. Nothing about ICE is tyrannical. Very true. That's where I thought this debate was going to go, but it did not go there. Who's operating with no oversight? ICE? Are you aware of a guy named Tom Homan? Yeah, even better. I'm going to bring my kids to a protest against the police who for decades have been hurting people that I think are not just even bad cops, but they are the SS brown shirts. And I'm going to bring my kids and get in their face.
Stupid.
That's good parenting, right? That's good parenting. The government is doing stuff that they passed into law that is tyrannical.
Well, a free state involves stability with like the rule of law and like predictability and like protection of rights for everybody, right? So that doesn't mean just like declaring tyranny on your own and using force against officials.
Yeah,
like, it doesn't matter the legality. That's just like not how you solve things.
Right,
And, like
exactly.
said,
the legality doesn't matter because that's
use
specifically what we're talking about.
Right, that's fine.
Okay, and so you're talking about, oh, you can't. But there was a child there. How could you do that? Well, there was a child. It was a child. Yep, you're exactly right.
Fine.
Okay, and so you're talking about, oh, you can't fight the government with this with the level of arms. And again, as I stated, it's not necessarily meant to say, all right, we got to arm up, we got to fight the government.
No,
it's
that's fine. But you're
deterrence.
saying like over like the entire history of the country, there's like no time in would it. Well, it would have
I
been
did not
just
speak
to
any of
actually
those
fight
types of
against the country.
I made no
And
declarative
even
every
in
kind of
instances
statement
where like police will kind of like go and like a no-knock warrant on the wrong address. When they uphold people's rights, it's not their right to shoot at the government for doing a tyranny and using their power the wrong way.
Holy straw man, Batman. Okay, said Trump peaked politically and physically. That's okay. Weird, but it's the natural law. Him's rolling downhill now, and the latest batch of files don't help. MAGA cult screeching like feral cornered cats. It'll be over soon. So didn't most of us before just say that like anybody implicated in the files should be prosecuted? So I don't know. Maybe are the MAGA cult people in the room with us? Are you okay? Are they hurting you in this moment? And then shout out to Box for the super duper here.
To shoot at the government for doing a tyranny. And
actually, yeah, let me back. So this is what he's
every
kind of statement
where like police will kind of like go and like a no-knock warrant on the wrong address. When they uphold people's rights, it's not their right to shoot at the government for doing a tyranny.
You're right. I missed that. Good call. Projection. I go into a random place where I don't know anything and assume that everybody is exactly the same because of reasons. Good catch, section 230.
kind of like go in like a no-knock warrant on the wrong address. When they uphold people's rights, it's not their right to shoot at the government for doing a tyranny and using their power the wrong way. It's just that there's a reasonable use of their self-defense.
Right. So this is where I thought he was going to try to pull me. Maybe he thought that I was saying that with the pretty and good situations, that those were justified and fall under what I am saying is tyranny. And that wasn't it. Yeah, totally agreed. That doesn't mean that there is never a situation where the government is being tyrannical and the people need to overthrow it. Do we want to do you guys want to come up? We can come up and do this. This debate's only 15 minutes. But give me from Section 230 in Waco, give me a 1 in the chat if you are willing to come up here and talk about whatever you guys are talking about. Totally agreed. That doesn't mean that there is never a situation where the government is being tyrannical and the people need to overthrow it.
Yeah, that's totally fine. So even if
that's my point.
That doesn't defeat anything, I don't think.
I mean, you can think whatever you want, but all right. So here we'll just finish this debate. I'll give you guys I'll drop the link right now. You guys, take a piss, get something to drink, set your shit up. And you guys are both on this one, right? So I'll pin it there. That's just for Section 230 and Waco Mind. Please use the same names. And I know you guys, so I don't need you to be cammed up on YouTube. I just need you to cam up backstage to make sure someone's not, using your name and gonna come start some bullshit.
It's totally fine. So even if
that's my point.
That doesn't defeat anything, I don't think.
I mean, you can think whatever you want, but I think that I think that it does. So never preempt or I guess undercut the argument that you're making by saying I think. Well, I think it's this. Like, okay, well, I think it's that. That doesn't bring us anywhere. Oh, there we go. I don't know what you want from me.
So let's say it's fine that it doesn't matter whether it's legally permissible to shoot at officials or whatever.
Yes.
Sorry, train of thought.
Because I feel like you're coming at this from. So this is where again I had no idea where he was coming from, and the fact that he established some things about why we shouldn't be doing that. Then this again, I didn't think he was coming from the Alex Preddy situation, but I'm trying to just get a gauge on him.
Train of thought.
So I feel like you're coming at this from a situation or from a perspective, and I'm speculating. So correct me if I'm wrong. Feels like you're coming from a place of the most recent ICE and CBP and stuff that
think about the Bundys. They were standing up against what they thought was
who the fuck is he talking about? I was like Ted Bundy. I don't know Bundys. Somebody was saying something with the Mansons. Was it something with that? I still don't even know.
Federal tyranny, and they were fucking criminally convicted, and some of them fucking died for it.
Mm-hmm. What is it? Yeah. Okay. And then you got to make a point. What's the substance? What is the relevance to the 2A being meaningless? There. I feel like you're just saying things.
What do you mean? I was just saying things, bro.
You're saying a thing, and there's no argument there. But so then I'll go back to the deterrence argument. That if we don't have that, deterrence, that the people can rise up. It's not meant to say, "Oh, we can beat you." It's meant to say,
right.
Shit's going to get real bad. Shit's going to get real bad.
Laws. It was zoning laws.
Shout out to Edge the Bunny. I guess I know it by that. I didn't. There you go. Put the bunny video in Discord. The Groundhog Day? Oh, that's not you. There's no video. Is this a video? This is not a video. What you talk about, Willis? What you talk about, Willis? Yeah, I remember. Okay. Oh, that's why. But said if I wasn't a cop and some idiot with a gun tried out their hands on me, I'd treat it as an imminent threat. That's how that works. People can rise up. It's not meant to say, "Oh, we can beat you." It's meant to say,
right.
Shit's going to get real bad. Shit's going to get real bad.
Laws. It was zoning laws that the Bundys decided to.
You're saying in this situation it was bad, therefore it's always bad. That's not how logic works.
Example. We just use an example to kind of build off of.
Okay, that's a bad example because I think you and Blueberry Street like that, and then I would agree that the Bundys did not have.
It's a bad.
Wait, the Bundys.
Okay, go ahead.
The Bundys. Ted Bundy was a.
Yeah. No, not Ted Bundy.
Okay, well,
out of like Nevada.
Okay,
it was like Amon Bundy or some shit like that.
Oh, okay, not that familiar. But I mean, again, even if you look at Waco, like that didn't work out well for the people at Waco. And let's put the child stuff aside and just focus on the two-way stuff. The idea is that the idea is that the bad stuff is going to happen when the government tries to overreach. Right. So what is it? Why is that?
Who decides it? Is it unfair zoning laws?
That's a great question. That's a fantastic question and a very deep orders. That's a very nuanced conversation debate that needs to be had. Just flash your camera for me, section, please. Thank you, sir. All right. Welcome. We're gonna finish up with this and wait for your opponent. But we'll see.
Sounds good. I'll mute until we're ready.
Thank you, sir.
But that matters.
I absolutely agree, but that's not what the contention is.
Too much taxes?
So again, that is a very interesting conversation that has to be had about where the line is. But you are saying that there is no line.
No, I'm pointing out the absurdity of the tyranny.
No, you're pointing out a single example. You're purposely strawmanning.
No, I just listed.
He wasn't strawmanning. But he was presenting. Oh, that looks better. He was presenting an idea that, okay, look at this situation where people fired upon the government and they were wrong. And I'm like, yeah, okay, those people were wrong. That doesn't mean that there's no situation where it's justified, i.e., the American Revolution. Be this. Yeah, right. And I would disagree with all of those things being. Sorry, Morgoth's Hammer said, how it quote, works out. If you resist a mugger and it gets stabbed, does that mean the mugger is right? So if what is that response to? How it works out? If you is that what Let's Chief, my opponent, said? If you resist a mugger and get stabbed, does that mean the mugger is right? If you resist a mugger, no, of course not. Of course not. Oh my goodness! Shout out to Box with the big 5. Thank you, sir. So I'm getting this. His murderer's side, the worst part was how the government lied to our face and expected us to just accept that. I mean, yeah, agreed. But I mean, that's what the government does, right? That's what the government does. That's why we don't. There you go. That's why we don't make our whole personalities about, about politicians. And I see we got W in the back, but devices not connected. So we just need to see. You need a mic, and then obviously I just need you to flash yourself backstage. You don't have to be on camera up here. So then we will continue. You should be this. Things. Yeah, right. And I would disagree with Did I read this? His murder side, the worst part was. Oh yeah. Agreed. And then Box said, "Say what you will about the actions that day. The government coming in with that big D energy and flubbing it." Agreed. Strawmanning.
No, I just listed you should be this. Things.
Yeah, right. And I would disagree with all of those things being
tyranny.
Right. But that doesn't mean that somebody. Do you understand? Yeah. So Mark is saying the cyborg is pointing out resisting the government thugs can result in negative consequences. But just because it doesn't work out doesn't mean one was wrong. Bingo. There you go. And that because person A says this is tyranny.
Yes.
And we all agree that it's not tyranny. That a situation it could genuinely be tyranny.
So I agree
Yes,
that a lot of people would see a lot of things as tyranny, and we agree that most of it you should not use force to respond to.
Correct.
So even though it's tyranny, like there's no, like it's just absurd to respond to with force to these things. So it's also like a double standard on the test, like to say that if this.
I should have asked why. Second, Waco, I don't know if you can hear me, but we're not getting anything from you in the back. I can't pull you up if you don't have a microphone, so let me know.
Unless the Second Amendment allows armed resistance to tyranny, it has no meaning. Like you're appealing.
I know you're here, Waco, but I'll just show you. Look, right, good, yeah. I'll just show you. You're back here, and like I can remove a section, and I can pull him up, but you don't have anything connected. So they will need to connect their mic and cam before anything. So okay, yeah, no problem. We got time. We chilling. Shout out to Chaos for You. Welcome. So what exactly is tyranny? Would the Bolshevik Revolution be considered tyranny when they murdered some 2 million Christians? Probably. But that is a different question than whether or not the Second Amendment is meaningless if it cannot be used to fight against tyranny, which is what my position in the debate is. Yep.
Amendment allows armed resistance to tyranny. It has no meaning. Like you're appealing to the legality while saying you can't appeal to the legality also. There's like kind of two things. You're like having your cake and eating it too.
No, I didn't appeal to legality. I appealed to practicality. That practically the government will see that it's really bad if we try to overreach. Not that, the people are automatically going to take up arms and, we are going to send F-35s or whatever and we're going to lose. That's not what I'm saying. You're strawmanning what I'm saying. That is not what I'm saying. You're trying to get past you're trying to get to another part of the longer conversation. But so I didn't even know if he was actually strawmanning me, but he wasn't directly addressing my argument, and I didn't fully understand what he was saying. So sometimes you got to fake it till you make it, baby.
Did you agree with my characterization that if you found the right to bear arms to be meaningless under any particular condition, being that you couldn't use it against an oppressive government, that would make no difference if you disarm the population and remove the right altogether? Is that what you mean by meaningless?
If we remove, sorry,
I'll say it again if you want. Yeah. If you found the right to bear arms,
this is also why you should have a little bit more animation. It's hard to pay attention to people who are just a little bit, monotone.
Be meaningless under any particular condition, like not being able to shoot at a tyrannical government.
But hold on.
In my opinion, that says that to me says that it would make no difference if you disarmed the population or removed the right altogether. So do you agree with that kind of definition of being meaningless?
No. So again, I'm going to go back to this, but Mike is saying the preparation for rebellion is the reason for 2A. It's the implementation, or its implementation has nothing to do with it. That's the point. If you win, you're a revolutionary. If you lose, you're a traitor. That's how it works. Well said. I wish I would have been able to. I wish you'd been able to feed me this while we were alive, because that sounds good. That sounds good. We also got Tree. Welcome. Since I was Tea Party protesting, we legally needed a permit. Yup. It's almost like there's ways to do things, and then at a certain level that would be determined tyranny, then we have the reasons to go outside the bounds of the law and all that kind of stuff. Well, for that, of course not. But he is claiming that point never comes. That is never, ever okay. Because because there's a difference between we got the right name 2A and the right to bear arms and the right to use those arms. You keep appealing.
Are they separate rights? Can you point
no, but you keep appealing to people misusing.
No, you can't point to the separate right. That it's the same right, correct?
To keep and bear arms. Where does it keep and bear arms?
The same right, correct?
Yeah, it falls under 2A, but
okay. So as far as being meaningless, if you can't use it against a tyrannical government.
Yep, that's exactly what I said in my opening. And it's explicitly said it's a not a first resort, it's a last, and it's a deterrence. And so he's coming back to the same shit.
You can't point to the separate right, that it's the same right, correct?
It's not the same right. You do not have the right, according to the Second Amendment, to use arms on the government. That's not there. He doesn't seem to be understanding that that's not part of it.
Correct.
To keep and bear arms. Where does it keep and bear arms?
The same right, correct?
Yeah, it falls under 2A, but
okay. So as far as
make the
being
point.
Meaningless, if you can't use it against a tyrannical government,
doesn't mean you should.
Me, that says,
doesn't mean you should.
To me, it says it doesn't make a difference whether or not that population has guns.
Okay, can you explain that line if I'm saying you should be able to, in the obviously the most extreme and true examples, there are situations that could exist where tyrannical government requires people to stand up. How does that go against what you just said?
They don't have to be like multiple things could be true at the same time. But you're
okay, maybe I'm stupid then.
Like the prompt is that you're saying it's meaningless if you can't do that. And I'm saying that there's plenty of reasons why we have gun rights other than the niche condition to shoot at the government. I know that you're focused on that because of the overt wordage being the only thing that
you never want to hear me say, oh, okay, that's a bad sign.
Most glaring, blatant thing that jumps out at you. But the law preserves our gun rights.
So I mean, if you want
gun right to the Second Amendment in other ways,
if you want to take a W, that you could change the words around, and 2A still is an English sentence.
It's what we use it for. It's how we've used it in law. Like it just.
So again, just completely going past what I'm saying, but let's shout out for another big 5. Thank you, sir. And of course, a treat for Morty. Wake up, mine. I see we're moving in the right direction. You got the right name there. If you could just connect a microphone, it will be good, but no rush. Like I said, the Bundys and Lavoy are idolized. Ruby Ridge, Waco, but not Alex. Make it make sense. What was the government doing? Was the government doing something that was so much of an overreach that it justified taking up arms? That is an opinion. In many of our opinions, because of the laws that are in place and the way that all of this played out, and I mean, hey, yeah, there's definitely issues with what went on with Waco and what went on with Ruby Ridge. I don't know too much about, like we explained. I don't know much about the Bundys, but if it was the same situation, why do you think that people would react differently? Yeah, I reject that notion. I reject that notion of meaningless because we're talking about the substance, and you're trying to say it has a different meaning, but it's not this meaning. I go back to the fire extinguisher thing. The fire extinguisher doesn't not. No, wait, can I just finish though? So going back to the fire extinguisher thing, the fire extinguisher example I gave, the broken fire extinguisher it still exists, but functionally, as a way to extinguish a fire, it does not do that. And I am saying the same thing happens if you undercut the sanctity of the free state with 2A.
I just think it's not.
That's a good point too, Liberty. I don't think that so Box, I don't think a lot of people are like, oh yeah, Waco was fucking awesome. I think it's again a cautionary tale that look what happens when the government overreaches and people actually stand up for their rights. Not they were doing such a good job, but in that one area, the government really fucked up.
Parallel because fire
undercut the sanctity of the free state with 2A.
I just think it's not parallel because fire extinguisher has a sole purpose. You're reading only the words that are in front of you, even though you've already acknowledged in this conversation.
Okay, so can you give me a better
gun rights we have outside
sure.
of the,
okay. So yeah, obviously it's not one-to-one. Do you have an example of something that would be a little bit closer?
I don't think we need to even go to that.
So you can't come up with anything.
Because you're saying that you agree that the Second Amendment enshrines our gun rights for other reasons other than to shoot at the government.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying that if you say something is meaningless, like the Second Amendment is meaningless, the right to bear arms is meaningless, it doesn't matter whether or not you take it away. So I understand that you're saying that if we can't,
I still don't,
use them against a tyrannical government, in my mind, to call that meaningless, you're saying that you might as well like not have the right to bear arms at that point.
Yeah, wait, come on. You don't have a phone?
I think you're rejecting that because of the obvious reasons that it's not meaningless.
I think that you're carving out this definition of meaningless that is under 30 seconds.
What is meaning? Tell me what meaningless means to you then.
So in this context, the meaning is fulfilling the function that was initially intended. So that is the meaning of 2A, is to fulfill what it says in 2A. And so if you can't do a part of 2A, then it is no longer 2A. Ship of Theseus. Should have brought that up, right?
I think you're the one trying to make a carve out.
Okay. Which carve out would that be?
You're saying the carve out is you're saying 2A could only exclusively be for use against a tyrannical government, even though you've already
I literally never said that.
Uses of 2A.
I literally never said
Perfect timing.
I said it's not only about the other things that I mentioned. It's not only about hunting. It's not only about self-defense. It's not only about criminal.
Correct.
It is about the sanctity of a free state. And so that, again, saying that there's multiple parts to this. But if you take one of the parts, like that, he's trying to say, oh, well, because there's other parts to this, if you take out one of the parts, it's still the same. Is it though? Self-defense. It's not only about criminal.
Correct.
It is about the sanctity of a free state. And so if you take that out, then all of those things, even though there's multiple factors, then
a free state isn't in a constant state of revolution and insurrection. There's stability.
And again, that's a perfectly fun conversation to have if you want to have it. But that is that's an offshoot of the basic notion of, is it still what we say it is if it doesn't have all the parts? Right. That's the main argument there, is that I'm trying to focus on the actual prompt, and he's trying to bring up other things as to why the sound of the prompt is not necessarily something that we love. But that's not the argument. I agree with you that it has many different parts, and I'm saying that all of those parts are necessary for the whole to be the whole. If you take out one of the parts, it's a different thing.
Individuals shouldn't have gun rights unless they're through militias organized by state governments, subject to training and discipline and under a command.
No, I'm not saying that. But can you? I'm not saying that. Can you tell me what you thought it was?
Says. No, I mean, you were just going by the text, so I thought you wanted to go by the text. So I'm letting you know what the text says, and now it seems like you were trying to.
You think I'm saying that people should not have the right to bear arms? That's your honest reading of what I've said so far?
I'm showing you how.
I didn't think so. Come on, brother.
Come
on, brother. Yeah, it sounds like you just want to take away people's guns, as I'm actively arguing that people should be having guns and making sure that the free state has its sanctity. And so very clearly, I saw red meat, and I chomped down on it. When I heard him say that, I'm like, oh, honey, sweetie, baby.
So I'm like, no, I mean, you were just.
You wanted to go by the text. And yeah, I maybe was getting a little bit away from the argument that he was making about what the text says.
Going by the text. So I thought you wanted to go by the text. So I'm letting you know what the text says. And now it seems like you were trying to.
You think I'm saying that people should not have the right to bear arms? That's your honest reading of what I've said so far?
And
the silence. Oh, that silence lets me know. Oh shit, bro.
Showing you how.
I didn't think so. Come on, brother. Come on, brother. Yeah, it sounds like you just want to take away people's guns, as I'm actively arguing that people should be having guns and making sure that the free state has its sanctity. 30 seconds left.
Super literal with the language, because if you're super literal with the language,
you mean like you're trying to be with meaningless?
Yeah, if you're saying it's meaningless, that means it's like, why should we have it to defend our homes? Exactly. That's a fucking
it's
stupid
very
thing
important
to say.
that we have that part. Exactly.
That's
my argument. It's very important that we have all the parts of it.
No, you're saying that without the specific part of shooting against a tyrannical government, it's fine. If it's just hunting,
I literally, I literally said the opposite.
I'm going by the prompt. If you're saying you disagree with the prompt and you agree with me that
all right, guys, we're gonna help out Laura Bush here. Send me $35 and I'll send it her way. No, you're agreeing with me.
Then fine.
You're agreeing with me. It's
all right. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to jump in there now.
All right. So while we are waiting for our esteemed other guest section, how you doing? What did you think of my performance?
I would say I think that you crushed it. I think that the other guy was just kind of slow and not comprehending what your actual stance was. And so he was basically arguing in circles around you, and you're like, bro, this is exactly what I'm talking about. That's what it seemed like to me.
I'm glad that I'm not the only one who saw it that way, because it did feel like, is he going so far over my head that like he's crushing me and I don't understand what he's saying? And there's a certain part, he referenced some things that I wasn't super familiar with. But, I mean, at the end of the day, this is a good starter platform for debates because people come ready. But it's not necessarily, like I said, the major league. So it's a really good place to get in practice. I know Angry said that he wants to get in. Would you ever do some debates on horseradish?
To be honest, I'm not sure that I necessarily care for the horseradish platform. I would say that the people that they have on are typically low tier. They have had some good ones, and I would say that the moderator is pretty decent. But it's like Ryan Radical Coder being on there every other day, and I would not be able to deal with that. I would probably make them hate me.
Interesting. I've never seen him on there.
No, I'm not saying him specifically, but his ilk. Yeah, people like him.
Gotcha.
And I would end up making them hate me. And I also don't think that I have the temperament to be on YouTube because in the heat of the moment, I would probably forget what is TOS and not. And I really do my best to not do that. But, sometimes things happen.
Waco gets stuff going. Let's try.
Yeah, if ever. He's got a team working on it, don't you know?
Yeah, a little odd, but Waco, what's good with your phone? I mean, I'm not one to say that it's a dodge, but it is a little odd that you've got multiple people working on a microphone and a camera, and all you need is the microphone. But anyway,
he always talked in third person too, or like plural sense. Like he says "we" instead of "I," which is quite different.
I missed it. I want to get into what you guys were talking about. Let's shout out our boy Box here with the $2. Thank you so very, very much. What does this look like on? Oh yeah, still can't see. Oh wait, if I do this, then we can see both. Okay, good enough. There we go. Oh, but I still can't reach. God damn it. There you go. Thank you. Buck said, pro tip. Don't fight winter people in the winter. Smart move. Indeed. Thank you. So very, very much, sir. So yeah, what we're, obviously I don't want to give, Waco too much of a disadvantage here, but what were you guys going off about?
So it's my understanding that he believes that ICE is operating without any oversight whatsoever, and that they're literally kidnapping children. And so I asked him, "You have any proof for those claims?" And I refuted what he said. And that's when you were like, "Hey, you guys want to come here?" I was like, "Yeah, sure. Why not?"
I mean, that's a very, I wouldn't say very common in the sense that those specific words, but the notion of they're just doing whatever they want is a little weird to me. It's like, why do you think that they don't have oversight? I thought the argument was that the Trump oversight is what makes them so bad. That's what I thought.
Yeah, there would never be an acceptable methodology for them to use whatsoever to anyone on that side of the spectrum. There's no good way to do it. They want them to stop doing it entirely and just let them all stay here.
It seems that way. So here's what am I gonna do? Since we got section up here already, I'm gonna drop the link for everybody. I don't know what's going on with Waco Mind. If we get that, then we'll definitely give them some time. But come on up. Again, all I ask is that you use the same name that I know you from the chat. And then, well, I said they didn't have to cam up because I thought they would be quick. But I would prefer if you cammed up. But, then if I know you, then we'll make it work. But first, we got to shout out our boy, Funk Master General again, with the big 10 gifted memberships. Thank you so very, very much. Look at all of those. Wait, who has 2 me is me too? I don't even know who that is, and they've got a badge. I gotta take that. Who are you? What? Yeah. But everybody, yes, make sure you join the Discord. Thank you so very, very much. And we've also got our boy Box with the $5. Thank you so very, very much. So this all could be avoided if we went and fined or arrested business owners who hire illegals. But I guess we could never do that. Easy. The problem is, Box, that it's the people that you and your ilk are voting for that are preventing this.
Yep. It's already illegal. It's just that in blue cities specifically, none of the judges will actually prosecute any of these business people for doing it.
And so, like, how do we get to a place where we're, just even on an individual level, why wouldn't you hire illegals? If you're running a restaurant or whatever, okay, if you have some, duty to your country above your own family and your own pockets, okay, I understand the fact that it is wrong to be hiring people, but you could get a dishwasher that's going to work for $3 an hour. What are we talking about here? So we have 5 and 6. And of course, Funkmaster remains the sponsor of the stream. Thank you. Again, anybody else, feel free to come on up. What are you guys saying in the chat? And Grandpa T said, not that it happened, but if one is arrested with a child, the child gets taken into custody or to a family member if the police allow it. Yeah, this is a very common talking point with the separating kids from their families. I mean, Tom Homan said it so clearly, but it's very obvious. We all understand what getting arrested means. You get taken away from all of society, not just your kids, your home, your car, all of that stuff. Why would it be any different? Leftists are now Chang. If that was the reference, then that would be awesome. But either way, welcome to the party. And they said the latest talking point of the left is the point of is to point out an image of child camps that are in another country right now. I know. What else we got? Yeah, children being taken away from Americans being arrested. No problem. Illegal aliens abandoning their children to flee the law enforcement. Blame the cops for being mean fascists. Make it make sense. Like I said, I'm working on that. People are coming around. Both sides need to hold their lawmakers accountable. It's easier than ever. All right, well, stop debating. Mr. Positivity, I just dropped the link. It should be there, no? Did I drop it after? Here, I'll drop it again. Come on up. I do need you to cam up if I don't know you, but yeah. Looks like it's blocked on my end. Okay. Fair enough. Well, section, you're free to hang out if you'd like. But it seems like Waco Mind is not going to be able to join us.
Yeah, it's certainly seeming that way.
Oh, but we got Box in the building. Welcome to
Go meet in the
the
backstage. I gotta go rock a piss. I gotta make a cig. I'll be back in like 3 or 4 minutes.
Fair enough. All right, so that'll give me and Section a chance.
Watch your hands, heathen.
Absolutely. I have clean hands. Mom, I watched for dinner. You got it. Do I have to kick myself out? Sorry.
No, I got you. You're off. Yeah, you and I can figure out how do so I think you were a little bit closer to reading all of what Box was saying differently from Waco Mind. about let's go through the specific super chats. The most recent one. This all could have been avoided if we went and fined or arrested the business owners who hired illegals. And then the Bundys and Lavoie are idolized. Ruby Ridge, Waco, but not Alex. Make it make sense. I feel like we addressed that a little bit, but I think he's going to want to get into that. And the first one was his murder aside. The worst part was how the government lied to all our faces and expected to just accept that. The Alex Preddy thing. I do agree with that. Did you guys? Let's pull that up, because I do think it was a little premature. Is the most charitable I can be.
Yeah,
but
so
it was bad.
That third super chat, I would say that a lie implies that you have intent to deceive. If someone has incorrect information and they go out a little early with that and they say something about it with faulty information, that's not necessarily a lie. They probably totally believe that. Now, they can be wrong, and I believe people like Kristi Noem were definitely wrong. Oh, yeah. She shouldn't have said that when she said it. She should have waited for all the facts. And so should all of mainstream media. They should not be talking about this and declaring things as if it's the truth when they don't actually know. None of them were there. The investigation is ongoing. So, yeah, they should have all kept their mouth shut.
Yeah, in case anybody didn't see it, there he is. We were talking about the supers that you sent in. That is murder side. The worst part is how the government all lied to our faces and expected us to just accept it. And I definitely agree. I definitely.
Yeah, they were a little quick on that trigger, that's for sure. They were like, "Oh, look, we're gonna say these things," and it's like those things clearly didn't happen. And now I'm like, I already knew you lied to us. So it's like I'm a liberal insofar as like I could trust the government to do government programs like Medicare for. I don't trust the government. I don't trust the government with the death penalty, right? Like there's a whole bunch of things that I would love the government to do for us. I just don't fucking trust them.
Same.
This is one of those situations where this is absolutely sloppy police work. And in my opinion, in just my opinion, I think it's second-degree murder. I think that for one brief second, they watched that guy get disarmed. They knew he was disarmed. He was balled up. He was resisting. He wasn't fighting. He wasn't laying haymakers. He wasn't brandishing. He was resisting. It was resistance. He was balled up. And I think they saw them take the gun. I think in that split-second decision, they made the decision, can I shoot or must I shoot? And they gambled on the can I shoot side, and they're betting on the government to not hold them accountable for that. If I had done that shooting, if I had been the person that had pulled the trigger on that, I 100% guaranteed I would have been in court. A DA somewhere would have pulled up charges on me just to see if it was legit. Right?
You wouldn't have had any authority.
There would have been some type, as far as we can tell. I didn't hear the officers or the agents' names till the day that as far as I can tell, I don't know what kind of oversight is happening here. Like, there are bad cops. We're all human. We all go home at the end of the day. We all make mistakes. And as far as I can tell, this looks like blatant second-degree murder. They didn't wake up that day and say, I'm going to go shoot somebody. But in the moment, they asked themselves, can I shoot? Can I shoot? And they said, yeah, I can shoot. But the real question they should ask themselves at that moment was, must I shoot? And the answer is
fair enough. So why don't we put a pin in that right there? Let's go and see.
If you squint hard enough, one more second. If you squint hard enough and you look at the Renee Good case, you can see reasonable fear. You can see reasonable justification in the Good case. I could not see it in this. I just call them how I see them. I'm not partisan on this one way or another. I watch a lot of these videos, these self-defense videos. I try to, take them as I see them, and it looks like second-degree murder to me as far as, and no
fair.
one.
So why don't we start?
I don't know how justice proceeds.
I got you, brother. So why don't we just start where we all seem to agree that Kristi Noem was shitty with this. We'll bring Trey in, and then we'll get into whether or not it was indeed murder. So in case you haven't seen it, just fuck. I thought this was a short clip. Fuck, I didn't realize that this was this long. Hold on. Let's get. Well, how about instead, shout out to Trey. Welcome to the party. While I find that, why don't you let us know what you've got to bring to the party?
I mean, I don't have. I chose to just literally check out of this one. I mean, to me, the video I seen, it looked like the man. It looked like he was disarmed and then got shot, which was the wild part to me. But I've just decided to mentally check out of it at this point.
That's really kind of you, because I got the whole vibe like I was ready to have the black folks give me my talking to about how like they've seen this shit for so long, and it's like, oh, you're just now. It's like, no, I get it, but I mean, I'm ready to shut up and take my talking to from the black folks. I'm sorry you're disgusted about it like that. Like, now's your time. There is a small soapbox that I think a lot of people will let you have here in this case. Because there's like a whole bunch of "I told you so" from the black community right now, as far as I can tell.
Fair enough. Let's shout out to Mike, maker of stuff. Welcome. How are you doing?
Thanks for letting me jump on, man.
Absolutely. What do you got for us?
Oh, I'm going to sit back and relax a little bit, kind of ease into this, man. I'm going to kind of catch up to the vibe. I was working on technical stuff, so I kind of lost track of what we're doing. Give me a couple seconds. I'll be right with you.
Fair enough. So let's. I found a little a shorter clip here of this. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just gonna assume this is what we want. Let's hope.
Individual approach.
Again, this is Christy Nome. She is head of DHS. Is that her position? I think it's head of DHS.
I think so.
Something like that. She's in the FEMA office and she's in charge of shit. So whatever that is.
Individual approached U.S. Border Patrol officers with a 9mm semi-automatic handgun. The officers attempted to disarm this individual, but the armed suspect reacted violently.
Can we pause right there? Yep. Sorry. I love that the way she phrased it. That was such wordsmithing, and you could tell that was clear wordsmithing. Approached with a 9mm handgun. Mm-hmm. There was no context offered as to whether it was sheathed, whether it was put away, if he just had it on his person, whether it was concealed. No, she said it in that way to imply that he was brandishing it. Yeah, he was aiming it at people, and she was coming at it with violent intent. So it's already
technically true, but framed wrong.
Right, and exactly. So when you say approached with a firearm, you're expecting you see that in your mind, and that's not exactly what happened.
For the lives of his fellow officers around him, an agent fired defensive shots. Medics were on the scene immediately and attempted to deliver medical aid to the subject, but he was pronounced dead at the scene. The suspect also had 2 magazines with ammunition in them that held dozens of rounds.
And again, I don't like that part either, because that's also
2 magazines. I got 2 magazines right here.
It's just a few months ago.
What weapon of mass destruction?
Yeah, it was just a few months ago. We was like, what? Only 30 rounds? Like, that's not enough. It's like, okay, well, if that's not enough, then that's not enough. Now, again, that doesn't change the fact that he entered into a situation that he shouldn't have been engaged in if he had a firearm. But we're not there yet. You're already framing this in such a way that even those of us who are on your side, so to speak, in the loosest terms, you're fucking shit up. You're fucking.
We've already got this moment where they're already putting in the adjectives that aren't necessary, like the agent fired defensive shots. Why did we have to put defensive in there? How is that factual? How does that go onto a police report? If I were to fill out a police report about an incident, I can't put defensive because that's speculative. It gets dismissed. It gets kicked out of court. There's an objection immediately because I'm making a speculation about what the intent was.
Are you saying in general, or do you actually work in law enforcement?
He fired shots. That's what we know. She decided to add defensive.
Right. But I'm asking, wait, you're saying that, you said if I was writing that, were you just saying in general, or do you work in law enforcement or
well, my ex-wife worked in law enforcement for a long time. She was a dispatcher in 911. And I've known there's plenty of people in my family that have been in law enforcement, and I've been involved in altercations in my life. I mean, I'm not a peach. Okay. I understand what the subject line, and I understand what the context of things are when you have to go do a police report. Let's say you're a witness to a crime, or you were a participant and they come to take your statement, it's just like they used to say back in the 70s on the crime TV shows. It's just the facts. That's all we need you to do. Don't embellish it. Don't try to spin anything. Don't put any perspective on it. Just tell us what you saw. And that person fired shots. That's what she should have said. But
if the person thought that it was self-defense, then that is a defensive shot. If they felt threatened and they didn't realize that it wasn't him shooting, they fired in defense to protect their own lives.
But I think, correct me if I'm
And
wrong,
every one of those people are individuals. There's 2 people that shot in that instance, and they're each individuals. You have to treat them as individuals.
Sure.
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think what Mike is saying is that the Kristi Noem did not know at that point whether or not they were, in fact, defensive shots. That is the story.
They all just went spewing off with some bullshit, and it's upsetting to me.
So with Alex Preddy, it was CBP, not ICE. It was not
Border
ICE.
Patrol. Yeah, we got a lot of Border Patrol up here in Duluth. That they've always been around. They've
border issues.
They've never been out in the streets. They don't do street enforcement. We could race Border Patrol. They wouldn't give a shit. Like if you were side by side in the road with Border Patrol, you could race them, and neither side, you're not getting arrested unless that cops actually pull you over. That's how that works.
Let me some context. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but this is purely my just hypothesizing here. I can only imagine that recently, as of the last maybe 10, 15 years, I mean, there's been a lot of CBP up toward the northern border because by default, we've locked down the southern one. So they figured out a way to take
they dump a bunch of drugs.
Come down.
Well, they're also busting people.
Open border. When I go hiking, I go up towards Canada. The Superior Hiking Trail ends at Canada. I will walk through that clearing, piss on Canada, and then come back and start my hike in Minnesota again, and fuck Canada. And it's right there. You just walk across. No one gives a shit.
Yeah. Trey, were you going to say something?
I was about to say also, Greg Abbott's been busting them motherfuckers all around the country for at least the past 3 years. So, I mean, they've been sent everywhere. I know. I mean, living in Texas, I'm used to illegals. I'm used to migrants in general. So it's never been
everywhere.
It's never
perfect. Trey,
him busting them around. I get it.
Hold on, Trey. Are you used to like 4,000 extra like government agents roaming your streets? Like if they dumped like 4,000 extra government agents, how would Texas respond? I feel like if you dumped as many agents into the streets of Texas as you dumped into Minnesota, the response from Texas would probably be a little more stern, I suspect.
I doubt
Minnesota's holding it down, but
why do you say that?
Texas, I suspect.
I don't think it matters at all.
It's the street presence. It's that police in the street that can stop anyone present.
Let's go section and then Mike.
Yeah, I don't think it matters how many there are. And another thing is, do you think they would need an extra 4,000 if people weren't getting in their fucking way and actually cooperating all the time? I don't think they'd need 4,000. Yeah, but even if it was 100,000, I wouldn't care. I'd feel safer because you know what? I don't do anything illegal.
Sorry, I was letting
Minnesota right now is pinning down the feds. Right now, Minnesota is pinning down the feds. What else are they doing?
Well, hold on.
Collecting information.
Wait. We're gonna go to Mike if you want to jump in.
I was going to say, in regard to talking about the reaction of Texas itself, if you're going to deploy them in a particular city, we got to offer a little bit of context and get things in perspective here, because as everybody knows, Texas is freaking huge. And complete transparency, I'm in West Texas. Okay, he may be in East Texas or South Texas. He may be in a completely different place. But to give some perspective here, to go from the southern tip of Texas to our tip-top northern border is roughly the same distance as the northern border of Texas to Canada. It's entirely huge.
That's a good point.
Well, I know, but if we take a city, just pick a city, San Antonio, Laredo, like where are we gonna
pick a city for what?
If we dump 4,000,
have different nuances that make the public reaction a little different. For example, in Laredo, it's a hot spot for a lot of drug coyotes and a lot of human trafficking. There's a lot of people coming across from Laredo. They're coming all the time. San Antonio, not so much. It's more big. It's metropolitan. It's a little more progressive. It's more touristy. So there may be mixed reactions there. If you take them to Austin, they're going to lose their shit. They're going to lose
Minnesota's
their
not
minds if
small
you take
either, to be
CBP
fair.
off.
Minnesota is all red with 3 blue cities. We have Minneapolis, St. Paul, and Duluth that are blue cities in a whole red state, basically. Right. And it's the same thing. I'm at the other end of I-35. If I drive down I-35, I end up in your shit.
What are we driving at here?
Fast, you know?
What are we driving at?
I was going to say, I mean, I think that trying to compare whatever Minnesota reacts to as a state regarding a huge CBP presence would be a false equivalency trying to compare it to Texas, because literally it's just so diverse here that depending on where you drop them, you're going to get an entirely different reaction.
Yeah.
Well, it's also not even fair to. It's not even fair to compare what people in blue cities say to the entire state, which it's red.
Yep.
I bet you a bunch of the people that don't live in the city, they're probably like, I love this. Well, the only people who give a shit and want to cry about it are people in the blue cities.
Yeah, that's basically how they dumped them in Minneapolis and St. Paul. It's like, it's
because the border towns were getting overrun, and people like you were like, oh, well, we need sanctuary cities.
Like a third of the state of the population, but the other 2/3 are sitting around everything going like.
Box, can we acknowledge? Is there any? Or let's put it to everybody. Is there anyone on the panel that thinks that sanctuary cities are a good idea?
No.
Yes.
Okay, Box. Given where we are, and given the fact that there's CBP and ICE in your town, and that you don't like that, why? Why do you? Why do you think?
Because it prevents bigger crimes from happening. Basically, the idea, the part of the sanctuary city part, we're not a sanctuary state, by the way. There are sanctuary cities in our state, just to be very clear about that out the gate. But the idea is that if you get raped and you're an illegal and there's some huge gang operation going on, that if you go to the police, you'll be deported. Right? That's a big problem because people won't report the crime at that point, right? So there's this conflict.
The question was, why is it a good thing to have? I understand what a sanctuary city is. That was not the question. The question is, why did anybody think there was a good thing? You said it was a good thing. I'm going to, CT, welcome. I'm going to assume that you don't think that sanctuary cities are a good thing. But Box, you said sanctuary cities are a good thing. So I'm just asking, why are sanctuary cities a good thing? Sanctuary cities are a good thing because
they allow people to report crimes without being deported for reporting the crime. Period.
That's
sorry,
it's ridiculous.
Hold on, real quick, Colby.
So we just get to have sex slaves if you're from Colombia, and if you run off to the cops.
You're making us all dizzy. Can you calm down until you're somewhere?
Sorry.
You're good. Sorry, Box. You were saying. Now he stops talking. Why are sanctuaries? Yeah, you just said it,
I was going to crack a new beer. Sanctuary cities are important because it basically, the idea behind it is that you're allowed to report a crime without fear of being deported if you report the crime. That is the end of the whole discussion of sanctuary. They're not here. I don't want people here. I don't care about people. The only thing that matters to me far as sanctuary city is that if you get raped and there's some gang,
I understand English. You don't have to say I got you. So fair enough. So that's
you don't get deported for saying, because they'll hold that.
Say one more time,
hold that over your head.
Right. Okay. So just to steelman you, just to clarify before I continue with my own point, to make sure we're on the same page, you are saying that sanctuary cities are a good thing because we want illegal aliens to be able to report crimes without fear of deportation. Just before I get to my point, quick guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
What about all of the people who are getting crimes committed against them by these illegal immigrants?
Well, if they're also illegal immigrants, then let's deport the illegal immigrants that are committing the crimes.
Okay, but you are explicitly saying that you want the sanctuary.
It's really simple procedure. We just don't take your legal status into consideration when we're taking your witness account to a crime.
Okay, so we'll put a pin in that because that's a very low bar for what we're saying. Sanctuary.
That is it.
Fair. But we can see fair. But we can see that cities are doing more. Mike, you were gonna say?
It's a lot. There's a lot more to it than simply being able to report a crime. Okay, I understand where he's coming from, and it's a simple matter. If somebody is a witness or a victim of a crime, then I should be able to report that to somebody without any fear of somebody coming back with repercussions and shipping me out of the country. If I'm in a sanctuary city, that's fair enough. If I'm the perpetrator, that's a different story.
Yeah,
However,
get the fuck out of here.
There's still more nuance to that. And I'll tell you why I think sanctuary cities are actually a good thing, probably not something that's normally considered. Think back when prohibition was a law. What ended up happening? Did alcohol go away? Of course not. We had speakeasies, we had Al Capone, everything went nuts. We had moonshiners and bootleggers, and we had all of these guys going nuts. When you don't have a sanctuary city, the people that are here with good intent and have good intentions of intentionally becoming a citizen and living a stand-up life in America, they don't have somewhere that they can go. All you've done is drove all of this stuff that's happening right now. You think the cartels are coming out of the woodwork to go battle with ICE? Of course not. They're going in the woodwork even deeper. They're going to go hide even more. They're going to be even harder to flush out because prohibition on illegal immigrants is in effect right now. So they're all going to the speakeasy.
Okay.
That's wild work and absolutely 100% true.
Okay. So let's zoom out a little bit. Mike, I'm not as familiar with your position as I am with some of the others. So can you zoom out and talk a little bit more about how you feel politically about immigration itself, the border, the difference between Biden and Trump? Just, I mean, not all of that, but just kind of give us a picture.
All right, I'll give you my own personal perspective. Granted, this is very limited. It's from my own life experience. I've been here for about a half a century, but I'll tell you what I've known ever since I was little. The vast majority of people that are here illegally, and I'm speaking mostly for people from Mexico because that's proximity to where I'm at. I can tell you there's some things that people don't consider. First off, if I'm an illegal and I've snuck across with a coyote across the border to get into America, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to shut up. I'm not going to cause problems. I'm not going to get the cops called on me. I'm going to shut my damn mouth, go find me a job, do my job, and that's it. I don't want, it's like living next door to the dope man. If any of you guys have ever lived next to the plug doesn't want problems. He locks the whole damn block down because he doesn't want the cops there. Shut up, stay cool. That's what all of them behave like. I want everything to be cool. I want it to be smooth. I don't want problems. I won't get into fist fights. I won't go drunk driving. I won't do stuff that's belligerent and stupid because I know the first time I do that, I ping like neon on the radar and they're going to ship my ass back home.
Totally fair.
The vast majority of it.
Totally fair.
It doesn't make the problem any less worse.
Hold on. So I do want to shout out our boy Stephen Bravo Show for the gifted membership, but I want to present a question for you guys to think about while we call it out, because you're talking about all these things, but I feel like we already have a lot of illegal immigrants not doing that. So I'm gonna so let's give a big shout out here to Stephen Bravo Show. Welcome. Got a gifted membership and said I gotta pay it forward. And of course, a treat for the overlord.
While you're feeding the treat, I wanted to get clarification. You said there was a lot that were here that weren't doing that, meaning they weren't being law-abiding under the radar.
Yeah,
correct.
Yes.
No, I don't even care about that. Let's sidestep that. Let's sidestep that argument.
Why? Because that's what we care about. That's why we
that's why even the people that are flying under the radar, everyone that's doing everything right, it doesn't make the problem any less significant. Right? We don't have to make more excuses for it to be like, no, like I know I get it.
Violence-wise, maybe.
And then the other side of this
there's other issues. Do you agree there's other issues than violence with illegal immigration?
I feel like we get mired in this conversation over here. And really the conversation should be like, who's employing these people? And how do we stop this?
I think that we're missing it because we're not taking into account all the data. I would say, yes, there's probably illegal immigrants that come over here that are complete miscreants. There are people that are completely benevolent.
Like check.
I get that. But could you honestly say and back up with data that it's a disproportionate number compared to everybody else that's here?
Yes.
Yeah. No, they're fine. They're fine in that regard. They're totally fine. But the numbers themselves are a problem.
They're not fine.
Well,
all of that. All of that.
Yeah, go. All right, so hold on. Let's throw it to section.
Hold on a minute. So let me ask you guys a question. Is it a federal crime to enter this country without permission? Yes or no?
Yes. Civil.
Oh, so every single one of them that came here is in fact a criminal.
Civil is
if they no, hold on. If they wanted to be, listen, man, if they wanted to be upstanding citizens like you claim, wouldn't they have waited in line like all the legal immigrants do? They don't care about our laws. You think they're going to respect the other ones?
Hold on. One at a time. Let's go box and then Mike. So wouldn't they have waited in line?
He's right though that this whole thing is just going to drive these people further underground.
That wasn't the question. Hold on. If they're doing the right thing, wouldn't they wait in line? That was Section 230's question. You could say yes or no, and then elaborate after that. But we like to answer questions that are put out. So
sorry, I was all like.
So Section, do you want to? All right, so Section, you want to ask one more time?
Yeah, sure. I can ask again. So, this is a simple question. You know, we don't have to expound upon it. Is it a crime to enter this country illegally, or to come without permission? Is that a crime or not?
Yes.
Okay, so then they are all guilty of a federal crime just by nature of being here, period.
Yeah.
They are all criminals, technically speaking.
Yeah.
So if they wanted to be upstanding citizens, like is what's being claimed here, and remember, this is to the tune of millions of people who we know nothing about. If they wanted to be upstanding citizens, wouldn't they have waited in line like all the legal citizens that are coming in?
Yeah, my parents did it.
The problem is that we're deporting people that are already in this legal pipeline too.
That's a different thing, boss. That's
people who are aren't citizens.
Well, even if you do it legally, things are getting fucking just.
No, that's not accurate.
So
Yeah, go ahead. Who's next, Mike?
Sorry.
First off, there's a big difference between a civil offense and a criminal offense. They are two.
It is a civil offense, but it's a federal crime. Technically, he's right.
It is a federal crime. It's not a civil liability case.
Then I'm sure
it's not mutually exclusive. They're the same thing.
I can tell you that you will find a vast number of them whose only infraction against the United States was coming across the border without a piece of paper,
which is a felony.
Yep, and they should go home.
So all felons that are in prison right now should be released because it's only a felony, right?
False equivalency. That's a complete false equivalency.
Well, then let's be accurate about what a felony is. It's not a civil lawsuit. It's a federal crime.
Being an immigrant.
Felons should be able to vote and get their guns back, as far as I'm concerned.
Another great conversation to have at a time.
Yeah, completely sidestep that whole conversation, but really like.
So how then? So do we ever? Let's go down that road and say, okay, most of them are, just trying to come here for a better life. Their only crime is crossing the border. They're people just like you, so on and so forth. Fine. At what point do we talk about the fact that there are limited space and resources in the country, and it's not about being mean and we need to get them out because we hate, but there's just not enough stuff, and Americans are hurting, and because of the fact that there's so many people who are not Americans who are here, they now have a say in how things go, and that doesn't necessarily help Americans.
Plenty of space to go around. It's just the time frame in which
isn't your whole thing housing? Isn't your whole thing the housing crisis?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so square that circle.
There's plenty of space to go around.
Oh, so you're talking about bringing people in and just throwing them into the forest, or are we talking about bringing people in and they have a place to live?
If I may.
Yeah, Mike. Fine line we want.
The current financial crisis, the way it is right now, the sad thing that we have to acknowledge ourselves, and it has nothing to do with immigrants whatsoever. There are more empty houses that have been seized upon by the financial institutions than there are homeless people. We could house everyone right now if we chose to.
Wait. Yeah. We're not making the argument that we just need to put the homeless people. Wait.
The immigrants.
NIMBYs are more powerful than like the big money people think that are buying up all the homes. When you think of people buying up all the homes and the big money, no, it's all NIMBYs that just don't want their house value to run out of 20K.
Okay, you're coming all on that. A very specific question. Are you under the impression that solving the homeless problem is an issue of putting bodies in homes?
No.
Okay, so then why is any of that relevant to what we were talking about?
Because you're talking about that there's limited space and there's limited
there's not limited space
in the housing market, not territory. We're not talking about geography. We're talking about is there enough homes? And the fact is there's not.
Wait a minute. Last time I checked, we had about 32 states that we call flyover states because there's nothing there.
Yeah, but
exactly.
But there is something there. That's not an accurate description. There is something there.
Farms. There's fucking not wind with the things fucking what's it's called windmills. You know what I mean? The wind turbine things.
Yeah. Well, we have enough land that we could build homes on, but that would also make it harder for us to farm enough to feed. And it's not America's job to house the whole world.
Okay, let's make.
Dude, who else is going to pick the fruit?
That's what they said about slavery.
Yeah. So we're going to go KKK Democrat Party in here, huh? Who's going to pick the fruit? Like there's no American citizens doing it? Wild.
I'm sure there's plenty of Americans that'll do it.
Why don't you just get your shoe polish out right now and smear it on your face, homie? Because that was a wild take.
That's not my argument.
Everybody stop. So I think Edge of the South has a comment here that I don't think you guys said, but I think is a good jumping off point. Edge of the South said, take American houses and give them to illegals? Are you mad? Let's go to Mike, and then let's go to Box.
All right. So...
because this is what they heard.
Majority of what I'm talking about is that we're painting this as some kind of dystopian world like Hong Kong, where we've got 10,000 people stacked up on top of each other in 15 city blocks. And that's not the case. The density compared to other places in the world, we are massively expansed. We have so much room, so much ability to take on so many people. And more importantly, when his simplified argument of who's going to pick the oranges implies something that we do not give any acknowledgement to. And that's the fact that for decades,
there's lots of poor people,
decades upon decades, this country has been able to exist on the unspoken exploitation of immigrants.
Let's keep going. Let's keep exploiting those people.
It used to be a Republican thing. And now the Democrats saying who's going to pick the fruit.
The point that I'm trying to make is this. Those people will accept those kind of jobs. And it speaks a lot to some of the stereotypes that you guys have about people, particularly from Central America.
Which stereotypes? Who has which stereotypes?
But some people will have these stereotypes, such as...
because you said you guys. I thought you were talking about us.
A group of Mexican people that will move in and there'll be 15 or 20 of them living in one house. Or... they all go and they pick in the fields and they do agriculture and hard menial labor. The reason that they're doing this is that it is an advantageous situation for them in that they take a portion of their earnings in America, which translates to a much higher value in their home country and lends support to their family's home and be able to provide for them much better than they ever could in their country of origin.
They're siphoning it from America to their country.
You're taking American money and giving it to other countries. Why is that a good thing? Like I'm happy that
that's terrible for our economy.
I'm not saying that I want,
and they don't pay taxes on that
I'm not
either.
saying that I want people to who are. I'm not saying that I want people from other countries to be poor and desolate. What I'm saying is that it is not just because other people are poor in other countries doesn't mean that it's a justification to siphon from American wealth.
You're absolutely
not
right.
our job.
The siphon isn't it's not actually a siphon. It's a symbiosis.
It is.
And I'll tell
it's not. We don't get anything back
hold on.
from
Okay,
them.
Mike. So So it's a symbiosis. Go ahead.
Here's why it's a symbiosis. Because from our perspective, we think that it's a siphoning of money out of our country to go somewhere else. However, they're filling a role in our employment market that we could never fill in the way that
I don't like this argument. I don't like this argument.
That's not true at all.
Hold on. Guys, one at a time. Can we let Mike finish? And then we're going to throw it back to section 230. And then, Box, you could say whatever you want.
Even though, proportionately, by our own standards, they make a very minimal amount of money. And yes, they do send a small portion of that back to their country of origin. the savings that we get in our free market by the fact that their labor shed provides such a low cost to our labor that it offsets everything and it drives prices down for us. If you want to pay $35 for a bundle of bananas, you can do that if you hire all American people to go pick them. I promise you can do that.
I'll pay more for bananas too. I'll pay more for bananas if I know Americans pick that shit.
I mean, shit, me too. But okay, so let's go to section 230. That was the response. What do you?
Yeah, I think the majority of what was said is just hogwash. They're not a symbiote. They're a parasite. They send the majority of their earnings back, and they don't get taxed on it before or after. So what would normally happen is an American citizen would work that job. So they are, in fact, stealing a job from someone who could be doing it, who's actually a citizen. And that person would be paying taxes to the state that they live in, thus bolstering the local economy, which does not happen at all when a foreign national works under the table. Even if they work for less, they send the majority of that back to their home country. It enriches their economy, not ours. And yes, we absolutely could. We absolutely could have American citizens picking those crops. You know, farmers don't make all that much money in general anyway, but there's still magically tons of people who do it. Go figure. It's not just a bunch of Mexicans that are farming in America. It's actually majority white men. And so there's plenty of poor people who say they don't have a job. They can pick those fruits and do it. And as far as $35 bananas, that's absolutely ridiculous. At most, it might go up $1 or $2, and that's being generous. And I would gladly pay $1 or $2 more for my bushel of bananas, knowing that an American citizen picked them and that it bolsters our economy and not their country. I'm tired of other people taking advantage of us.
All of those points. The first thing I wanted to say is that if somebody can sneak across the border without a social security card, without an ID, can't even speak the language, and they can steal your job, it's not their problem. You're a shitty employee.
That's not accurate at all. That's not accurate at all.
Hold on.
We can't jump off this end.
Hold on. So are we saying then, Mike, that if you are not a good employee, that you don't deserve to work in your own country?
That's not a
okay. So why is it? Anyway? Because some people are stupid. Some people are not very good at doing things. Does that mean that they don't deserve to have the opportunity to
That's a pretty communist way to look at it. But what I'm saying is,
I think I agree. That's why I'm asking if that's what you actually think.
I think that it would be fine if we could all live in a utopia like that, but we don't.
Agreed.
We have to do with what we have. And what we have is people who demand the absolute lowest price that they can possibly get, forcing people who work in media labor and construction and agriculture to hire people that cost less than the minimum wage.
No.
Yes. I see
that's what we've been told by the media. No one believes that. Everyone here is willing to pay a couple extra dollars for bananas if we know it goes to an American. Everyone here. It is
well, except for
to be fair, the other side is only half right too, because they do pay the taxes, and that is gross GDP. Our GDP number goes up off the backs of slaves. So to some degree, it is beneficial, but not in any tangible, everyday kind of way for most people that they give a fuck about. Right? So
the overwhelming majority of them don't pay taxes because they would get caught.
These people shouldn't be picking our fruit. I'm perfectly capable of I will pick the fruit. Picking fruit is not beneath me. It's not fucking beneath me. And anyone in this chat that says picking fruit is for some reason beneath them is fucking insane. Right?
Well, I mean,
and we don't need to hire a slave labor class to do this for us. We don't need to hire a slave labor class to do this for us.
It's also ridiculous to try and say that it's the quality of the worker is why that they're not getting hired. No, it's because there's someone willing to work for half the pay. That's the only reason they're getting the job instead. No, it's not your point. No. That's not your point.
Wait. So, okay, said Mike just said that's exactly my point to the section 230 saying it's not.
It's not. Yeah.
It's not. Yeah. Do you want to repeat that last thing? It's not that. It's about.
Yeah. So It's not that wasn't your point. You said, well, if they could come in here illegally and get your job, you must be a shitty worker. But that's not accurate at all.
Let's let everybody speak for themselves. And he was saying that's my point. Maybe we were talking across each other. So say the last thing about it's not that they're willing to do it. It's about I don't remember the exact words that you used, but that notion. That's the money.
Me or him?
You, Section.
Okay, so yeah, so the point about it being like, oh, well, you must be a shitty worker if they could come in and get hired instead of you. It's not actually about Americans being shitty workers. It's that we actually demand certain wage standards here in America to an extent. And whenever you have someone who's willing to come in, whether legally or illegally, and work for a half or 1/3 of what you would normally have to pay someone, of course they're going to get hired instead. And it has nothing, it's no reflection on the American citizen who was going to do that job in the first place.
Okay.
So there's no reflection. That's ridiculous.
Fair. So then Mike said that's exactly my point. So let's maybe we can find common ground.
That person is willing to exude that much effort, provide that much work, and contribute that much for that small of an amount of money. You're not.
So how is that different than the slavery argument?
Legally, as an American citizen, legally, I can't go into a business and ask them to pay me less than the minimum wage legally. Right? If I walked into McDonald's and I was like, I'll work for $1 an hour just to see how this works out. If I'm a good employee, you can hire me at McDonald's. McDonald's will not hire me for $1 an hour.
Right?
They won't do that. They won't do that because it's against the law. Exactly. So as an American, because of minimum wage laws, I can't go in and undercut Pedro and be like, I would love to work for your organization. I'll do it for free for a little bit. We'll see how this pans out. If I like you and you like me, we can talk about a price in a month or two. That's illegal to do as an American citizen.
So wait, are you in agreement with me that we should abolish the minimum wage because of those exactly what you just said?
Yeah.
Based. I'll give you a dilly for that. Dilly. Anybody think that we should?
This is leading to the point because they will work for less. When they go in, they're like, hey, like I'll work for $2.50 an hour, and they're like, okay, we'll do this, and we just won't put it on the books.
They'll commit another crime.
That should not go unpunished.
Are we all on the same page with that? Do we all agree that there should be no minimum wage?
Listen, if there was no minimum wage, if that was an option that was on the table, absolutely. Take all the people with room temperature IQs, put them out there, pick the oranges. Okay, that's your job.
4 companies I would work for free.
Guess how we do that? Guess the first step in making that happen? Getting rid of the people who are doing it for super cheap.
We could just change a law, though, too, and then they would all leave. Right, the law itself.
But even you acknowledge it's a law, another law they're violating.
Economically viable for them to do it, and it would be dangerous for their employers to try to get away with it. It's not dangerous for the employers, and it's not economically viable.
Trey, you've been quiet. I know you don't like to jump in. I want to give you the opportunity if you wanted to say something.
I mean, all I can really say is as someone who drives cement trucks, I'm at literally construction sites every single day. Just talking to some of the foremen and guys that be out there that's like in the, I guess, higher up side of it, a lot of them do speak about a lot of people not wanting to work for certain wages, or they get out here and don't understand the amount of actual work they have to do to get it. And, that a lot of the Hispanic people are willing to do the jobs and they do it to the best of their abilities. Again, as someone who grew up in Dallas, Texas, I'm used to seeing illegal immigrants. I'm used to being around illegal immigrants. I'm used to working with illegal immigrants. I've never really had a real issue with it. Like Mike was saying,
that you're aware of.
I mean, what I'm saying, like Mike was saying, once you get in, I know for a fact, once you get into Dallas, you go to Jefferson Street. That is literally Mexico for them. That's little Mexico. So once they get in, they go to Jefferson Street, and we don't really see them niggas unless they going to work. I mean, for me.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, for me, it's just the thing of, I guess I'm so desensitized to them being around me that I literally just stopped caring.
I've literally been around in my entire life. And to talk about the agriculture thing, I wanted to back up things with facts. So give me just a second. I went over and looked. Farmers across the U.S. are facing labor shortages right now due to increased immigration enforcement and fear, resulting in unharvested crops, reduced herd sizes, and immense financial strain. A decline of approximately 760,000 immigrants in the workforce has left many producers struggling to find workers, leading to higher labor costs and fears of potential food supply disruption. Key impacts of that are in the harvesting. In California, fears of raids have caused 25 to 45% of farm workers to stop showing up in areas, leaving crops like berries and vegetables unharvested and rotting in the fields. Livestock care challenges. Dairy farmers in Pennsylvania reported selling herds because they couldn't find workers, with fears that cows may not be milked. Financial pressures. High rising labor costs combined with, in some cases, higher H-2A visa program expenses are making farming unsustainable. The long-term outlook is that it's projected to bring further financial losses due to these labor-related pressures, with farmers fearing for the viability of their operation and potential loss of their farms.
Yep. Resilience.
So a bunch of illegals were working there that shouldn't have been. That's what I got out of that.
The point is, without those illegals, they're going to go under.
Yeah, now they would have, but if they had been hiring U.S. citizens all along, they would be just fine.
And so the point is,
so let's prop up people who are doing illegal shit. Yeah, great idea.
So Mike, would you be okay with some type of, I don't know exactly what it would be, but let's just say in a magical hypothetical world, we have a system that would actually do what we want to do. If we had this system to help not only the illegal immigrants find their way home in a human, what's the word I'm looking for?
Humanitarian.
There you go. Humanitarian way. And we got more Americans to do the jobs that we need. Would that be a better thing than just keeping all these illegal immigrants here, or that would be a worse thing?
It would drive our prices through the roof. And I'll tell you why.
Good. Oh, the free market works.
Hold on. Go ahead, man.
Because every time a farmer has to go sell a crop, he has to take into account his own payroll. He's got to know that I've got to pay all of these guys, these harvesters, these processors, these cow milkers. I've got to pay all those guys. Where I was paying a payroll of $22,000, now I'm paying $122,000. There went all my profits. Guess what? Milk isn't $5 anymore. It's
not accurate at all.
Okay, but hold on. No. Let's walk through it. So let's if that's happening to the industry, then understanding of supply and demand, people are not going to buy milk for $25 a gallon, right? So at the end of the day, I'm not arguing that if we have American workers, Americans are going to want to be paid more and all of that. I do think that on a I don't know exactly what the timeline would be, that would even out, but the notion that people are just going to spend money on spend that amount of money, where the owners of the farm or the people who are selling, when people aren't buying that shit, the free market has the invisible hand that will force not only that one farm, but every other farm to provide the products at a price that people will buy.
Right, but we're already at the point of financial instability. It's already unattainable to get the American dream for Gen X, Gen Alpha. They already talk about it all the time. The financial is already there.
I don't mean
this is only going to exacerbate that problem. So it's not going to make it any better.
So what can make it better?
No.
Facilitating the individuals that are willing to do that kind of work for the wages that we're used to paying will stabilize how things are going. And we could probably offer these people with proof of good standing that they're here and they're not causing problems and they're not getting in trouble and they don't have criminal records. Yes, absolutely. We will do everything we can to help you situate yourself for good.
No, fuck that. We got to
legalize slavery.
National Guard to become judges for immigration cases
whatsoever.
All our way through this shit.
It gives us more time, however. If you throw them all out in the next 2 years, I guarantee the market's going to crash. But if you put
can't guarantee anything.
If you
Market
put in
crashing is just
sustainable
when you can
paths
buy
for these
cheap
people
stock.
to attain, if you put in sustainable paths for these people to attain citizenship, the market will have time
There already
to
is
correct
one.
as the time passes.
It's called immigration. What do you mean? There's already a path.
And do you
They chose not
understand
to
how
take that path.
nearly impossible it is for somebody to actually go through the process expeditedly?
Not impassable,
Sorry,
and it would be a lot easier if they weren't dealing with illegals.
Impossible. I've known
So then why
where
shouldn't
I
we bring
live.
everybody over? Why shouldn't we bring everyone in the world?
There
Since
is
there's
a
so
man-
much space and there's so many resources, why not go ad absurdum? If your principle is correct, then we should just bring everyone in the world to America. Why does that
It might not be a bad idea, but I mean,
What do you mean bring everyone in the world to America? That makes no
I'm
sense.
saying
Assimilation
by your
problem.
logic, the
Sure,
more
why not
people
do
we
it?
have, by your
It's
logic, the more
assimilation
people we
problem.
have, the more cheap labor we have, the better the economy. So at what point does that
Yeah.
not become the case? Do we bring
When
everybody
have
in
an
the
entire
world?
slave
Or
trade.
not?
Assimilation.
Really? There must be a line
Arms up
as to
against
where.
assimilation.
Hold on. There must be a line as to where bringing people
Absolutely.
into lower
Where we
wages.
achieve that symbiosis that we previously had when those jobs.
Hold on. I'm trying to say there must be. You're appealing to a principle that we need this because of the economy. That if we don't have these illegals, then the economy will crash, and the more labor that we have, the stronger that is.
Before you
So
continue,
I'll just finish with the question, and then I'll throw it back to you. So if that is the case, and we take that ad absurdum, then it means that we should bring everybody here, because then all of those people would be able to do the work, and Americans can just sit back and chill. I understand that's a ridiculous thing. That's why I'm taking it reductio absurdum. So
sure. All right. So the absurdity is absolutely true. If we brought every single person to the planet to over here to work cheap labor, yes, we'd have a slave labor force of the entire planet, and we'd all be able to sit back like fat cats. But what I'm trying to say, and what I should say more nuance, and I should expound on what you were saying. If we get rid of all the illegals, the market will crash. If we do it the way we're doing it now, it's most certainly going to, because we're just mass exodusing all of these people in mass without any method to backfill the role that they were holding in our society. There's nothing there as a safety net. If you give these people a path to get to rightful citizenship, which does take a long time to do, and they're fulfilling that role, then that gives the market time to make its proper adjustment as necessary. But if you just yank the rug out from under us, of course we're going to fall on our ass.
So, okay, then it seems like a middle ground is the ideal situation, where not just pulling the rug out and getting everybody, taking 10 million people at once and getting them out of the country, because we are depending on those people, whether they should be here or not, right? But that doesn't mean that we can't work towards instead of working towards getting them citizenship, working towards getting them out of the country and getting Americans, namely poor Americans, into those jobs.
Now, there's a twofold medium ground or middle ground that you're referring to, and I think this is something that doesn't get considered. Why not both? And here's what I mean by why not both. If I demonstrably show that I've been here since 1984, and I've never even got so much as a parking ticket the whole time I've been here, and I say I want to be an American, then my government should be able to offer a facilitated path for me to achieve that, because I've demonstrated.
When you say
Hold on, Boggs, let him finish, and then I will throw it to you next.
Because I've I've demonstrated that I have a genuine desire to be here and be a contributive member of our society. I'm not a degenerate. I'm not causing problems. I'm not doing any of these things. If that's the case, then I should have all of the support that I could possibly get in order to realize that and become a functional member of society legally.
Why is that? Why do we even hold on, Bob? So why do we even need that?
We need that because that sustains that workforce that I was talking about. We're about to yank out from under us.
Right, but I was asking you about replacing that with Americans.
Well, replacing it with Americans, yes, you can eventually end up doing that. And you will do that by naturalizing these immigrants. They will be American.
That's what Reagan said.
Where rubber meets the road, basically, is that at some point,
My point is, you're not giving the markets in the nation time to make the adjustment to accommodate for everybody being an American
How
citizen.
can you make that claim if you don't even know what my time frame is? Maybe
Economists. I can look it up if we need to, but economists have they've talked about this so much. They have.
Yeah, but I haven't talked about it. How do you know I'm not talking about a 50, 100-year timeline? I'm not, but I haven't laid that out, and you're saying that it's not going to work on my timeline when you don't know.
Forgive me, I made the assumption that you're working under the assumption that the cadence that we're keeping right now is an accurate cadence, and I don't think it is. Not by a long shot.
I am understanding of the notion that again, if we just pick up 10 million people and throw them out of the country, that is not okay. But I am being legitimate and genuine when I'm saying it seems like a middle ground that if we work towards shut the fuck up, when we work towards getting the people out on an appropriate, whatever that means, timeline, and then we get the Americans into those jobs in an appropriate timeline, what's wrong with that? And then we'll go to.
There's nothing wrong with that because that's the way we've been doing it. And the problem is that since then,
so keep getting them out and keep getting Americans jobs. Dilly.
No. And we've continued to work on that process of getting rid of the illegals that are bad members of our society. But at the same time, this accelerated pace that, for example, the current administration has decided to adopt, it has absolutely accelerated that to a point that I fully believe is beyond sustainability. If you do that, the reckoning that comes from that, the flap of the butterfly's wings, is something nobody has even taken into consideration yet.
Flap of the butterfly wings. Look, man, here's where the rubber meets the road. It comes down to the court. You're like, if they've been in the country for 30 years and they've not committed a single crime, there should be some legal pathway to their citizenship that should be like sped up, like streamlined.
Why?
So hold on. Just hold on. The problem is that streamlined implies that at some point they're going to have to end up in front of an actual court and go through the thing just quicker. The problem is the court. There's so many people in line for the court right now and for the court services right now that it's like a 10-year waiting list, right? The immigration right now is a 10-year waiting list. How do we get through this list quicker, basically, right?
By not having to use all of our resources on people who are already here who don't belong here.
Exactly.
That's such an
You're going to need a court.
Okay, why?
It's accurate. You might not like it, but it's accurate.
No, it's completely inaccurate.
Okay, fine.
No, it's completely accurate.
Hold on. We're not going to. Oh, hey! We're too old to be. Nuh-uh. Mike said that's not practical or whatever. I'm going to throw it back.
It's completely.
That's not. So okay. So then we're going to let Mike explain, and if we disagree, then we will speak like adults. Mike.
It's impractical and it's absolutely unattainable, and the reason for that is that doing that still hamstrings us, and all we're doing is circling back to pulling the rug out from under ourselves. Instead, I thought I covered how, but I'll circle back if I have to. But more importantly, why can't we get rid of a lot of this bureaucracy and red tape and expedite that system so that it doesn't take 10 years for somebody who's a decent person?
It didn't used to take 10 years. It didn't used to take 10 years. I'll text my dad right now and ask him how long they were in the process. The reason that it takes 10 years has to do with just general the world population, other countries being destabilized, and the desire to come here is greater than it was before. So it's not a matter of. Hold on. It's still, you still haven't answered why we need to cater to these people. I'm not saying that we shouldn't. I'm just asking your reason as why we should.
Because at the end of the day, everyone that comes here has to go through the court system one way or another. That's the chokehold. That's the bottleneck. I'm just going to point that out.
Wait, what was that? Can you say that again?
So at the end of the day, everyone here wants the people that live here, that came here, to be vetted by a court. And that is the bottleneck. That's the only problem. There's so many people that want to come here. They all have to go through, court basically to figure out what's going on with them and everything else, and whether it's illegal, not legal, all this other stuff. Courts are needed for all of this stuff. And that's the bottleneck in our system. That's just what's going on. It's a bottleneck right there with the courts and the lawyers trying to process these cases. That's it.
That seems to be a natural thing of the number of people and the resources and space that we have.
A very simple problem.
Certainly.
It's not
more importantly, as we cater to them, they're catering to us just as much by fulfilling all of those roles that they've been filling historically for decades so far.
We lost it might be bad connection, I'm sure. Is that me or is that you guys? You can hear me?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I can hear everyone.
Oh, Mike, you're back. Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Oh.
I can't hear Lutz.
Okay.
You can't hear me? Wait, hold on. Test.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Trey.
I got you.
Trey. No. Well, you can't.
If
you
you're
can't hear
talking
me?
to me, I can't hear you.
Trey might need to rejoin.
Yeah, try to. Well, you can't hear me, but weird. Sorry. Okay. Mike.
Your question was, why should we cater to them? Because truthfully, as much as none of us want to admit it, they cater to us just as much by fulfilling those roles of society that we need filled in the capacity that they're doing so. Also, as we continue to help them facilitate their path to citizenship, they continue to fill those roles. They continue to maintain the stability of the understood economy as we've been able to stabilize it for the last 50 years or so. We know that that's the case. There's not going to be a radical shift. There's not going to be a radical shift in economic policy. There's not going to be some kind of strange dichotomic shift in what we do as far as money and goods and services, and that none of that's going to happen.
So then maybe I'm confused because I did feel like we had some agreement there, but I don't know if so I'll just go over it again. Do you agree that the ideal situation is not amnesty, but an appropriately timed system to get the people out who don't belong here and the people who are here working those jobs?
Absolutely. And that process for the good actors among that community should be much faster than it is now.
Real quick,
here's the thing. When I have to wait,
and it will continue to be a drain on our system.
Hold on,
real quick. Trey, testing.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
All right, there we go.
When I have to, let's put myself in the shoes of one of these illegals, and I challenge each of you to do the same. If I have to duck and dodge and hide for a decade for even having a chance to do it the right way, then I probably am not even going to bother.
Okay.
There's a good chance I could.
Good. I don't want you to bother. I'm an American. I don't.
Yeah, go enrich your own country.
I don't want you to come here. If you can't get in, I don't want you here. Not because you're a bad person or because I'm mean, but because we have to have a border. We have to have a country.
Absolutely.
So if people can just come in and then become, well, if I just hide out long enough, then I can become a citizen.
But that's a facetious argument.
I don't think it is. I think it's the exact situation we're living in. And even if it's not, let's maybe lay it out this way, and you can correct me in the way that it isn't. But if it is the situation that people can just come here and hide out for a certain amount of time and get amnesty, then how does that get us towards getting the people out who don't belong and getting Americans jobs, as we just agreed was the ideal situation?
Never once did I say getting rid of the bad actors among the community was a bad idea.
I specifically asked you the people who are not supposed to be here.
Okay.
So there was two parts.
Then I need you to clarify who you mean by the people who aren't supposed to be here.
People who don't have the right papers, people who are not citizens, people who are legal immigrants, people who are falsely here under asylum, people who do not have the legal justification to be in the United States of America, and people who are abusing
So we're not making any distinction between the malicious ones and the benevolent.
At this point, no. At this point,
illegal means illegal.
We can have that discussion if you like, but I'm talking about people who are not legally allowed to be here. So you agreed with me before that the ideal situation is to get all of the people who don't belong in this country out of this country, and those jobs that those people were working, get those jobs to Americans who need them. How does giving people amnesty lead us towards what you and I agreed is the ideal situation?
The difference between you and I is the perception of who shouldn't be here. My perception of who shouldn't be here would be the malevolent individuals, the people that are here for the cartels, the people that are human traffickers,
fair
the
enough.
criminals.
Totally.
Those people do not need to be here.
Okay, totally. That's a totally fair opinion, but I'm not asking about opinions. I'm asking about legality. So I'm saying that people who are legally not allowed to be here. So if we change that and I say, okay, now we agreed on something that maybe we weren't on the same page. So lay it out again. Do you agree with me that anyone who is not legally allowed to be here should be on an appropriate timeline, removed from the country, and also on an appropriate timeline, getting the jobs that those people who didn't have justification to be in this country filled by Americans who need those jobs? Is that an ideal situation, or is there a better situation?
There's a better situation.
Okay, what's the better situation?
That would be making the distinction by behavior amongst those people in the illegal community, illegals.
How do you know
who are contributing members of society and those who aren't?
How do we know who's illegal? And isn't one of the talking points about how little crime illegals commit because they're just hiding out, as you were saying? How do we determine who those people are versus just Latino Americans? Or should we just
circle back to the sanctuary thing?
Or should we just be looking at looking at skin color and being like, you're brown, so you should have to show me your papers? Because that's the logical end to what you're presenting.
No, that's not the logical end. This is where we circle back to speaking about sanctuaries. If somebody who is of good intent, who is a good actor and has demonstrated that they do want to be a contributing member of society, if they know they have a city that they're able to live in where they're not going to be persecuted, they're not going to be pursued, and they're not going to be harassed, they will go there.
That's exactly what we don't want, Mike. That's exactly what we don't want. We don't want them to go there. We don't want them here at all.
You didn't say anything about the ability to report crime, by the way. The ability to just report the crime without being deported. That's all I'm asking.
If you're here legally, that's not something you have to worry about. If you stay in your country, that's not something you have to worry about.
That's all sanctuary cities about. I don't know how this got
and I understood that. I understood that the first time you said it, Box. That doesn't mean that I like it just because I understood what you're saying. I'm saying we don't. And again, it is not about being mean or anything. Do we agree that we have laws for a reason? People be allowed to just pick and choose which laws they follow.
Let's take this from another angle, because I think that we're cutting this with such a dull knife that we're not getting. So
let's see if Trey can maybe put us on the right path.
So my thing is, I get what Mike is saying, and then I also get what you guys are saying. So the part of the problem is, and I think the main point Mike is trying to make to a degree is, because we've been using illegal labor so long in this country, that kind of the way we're doing it is perhaps fucking the system. Now, do I think that, there should be kind of a better way to deal with immigration to a degree? I don't think it should be as tenuous or stressful as it is to a degree. Yes, but I mean, also at the same time, a crime is a crime is a crime. So if you are committing a crime, then you got to understand that there is a price to pay with that if you're caught. Also, part of the issue is when we be like, go back and make your own country good. Part of the problem is we fuck their countries off ourselves. This is kind of our doing to a degree.
I didn't do any of that. I agree with you. Yeah, America has done some shit. I didn't do any of that. Why should my neighborhood be?
I'm not. I'm just saying in general. When we kind of get on that. Yeah. I'm just
saying I don't think any of those things are justifications for ignoring laws.
I'd also like to take a very short moment to acknowledge that I would imagine the vast majority of the people that are in the chat and the people that are up on panel with us, I bet every one of us are either immigrants or descendants of
first generation American.
My grandparents were the Mayflower.
I can tell you.
Let's see what Papa Lutch said.
Myself and my family, I've been here since before America existed.
Let's see.
Yeah, baby, CRT, baby, CRT.
Let's see what Papa Lutch said. I said, how long was your immigration process? He said 3 years, I think. Mama Lutch already had her green card. Not 100% sure His sister, though, did take 10 years, but by then she didn't complete things as things changed, and she stayed in Trinidad to take care of my grandma. So, kind of following exactly what we're saying, in the 80s, took him 3 years to get it. And my mom already had the green card.
I think for those people that if we can guarantee, if somebody comes to this country without any criminal record whatsoever, which is near impossible the way the current immigration standard is, it's near impossible. If I come and I show you I have absolutely no criminal record, there's no reason that person should have to wait 3 years.
You know what else is impossible?
You know
what else is impossible? I'm 5'4". I'm a short king. All right, I'm 5'4". You know what else is impossible? Me dunking in the NBA. That doesn't just because it's too tall for me doesn't mean that they should make adjustments for me. That's just the way that my life turned out. I got a lot of other privileges and benefits.
To become an NBA player,
right?
They're trying to become Americans.
Okay, so if I did, wait. Okay, Mike, hold on. So, okay, if I did try to become an NBA player, then what? Then they should let me in because
no.
Why?
If you demonstrate your will to positively contribute to things, I remember a basketball player. What was his name? Spud Webb. I think he was 5'4".
You're talking about Muggsy Bogues, but he was good at basketball.
Too.
He demonstrated that he was a contributing member. Why can't we apply the same?
But that's what I'm saying. I'm using the tall thing as I don't know if you. I'm not super good at basketball, or I'm not super familiar with basketball. I'm pretty sure it doesn't matter how easily I could hit a three on my own. If I've got fucking, I'm aging myself here, but if I got Yao Ming in front of me, if I got Shaq in front of me, it don't fucking matter. I'm not contributing to this team. The point that I'm trying to make.
You're wrong on that point.
The point that I'm trying to make that I think you kind of understand is that I am not owed an NBA career, even if I'm really good at basketball.
You're right.
In the same way, someone from another country is not owed entry, immigration status, or citizenship to America just because they do things well.
Then Muggsy and Spud Webb should have never been basketball players because they inherently appear like they should never be able to contribute.
Okay, but did they follow the rules?
It's not about contribution. It's about enriching, meaning making it better. Not just can I give you a few dollars, not just being a normal person. We want their exceptional ones, not their mediocre ones. That was the point of immigration. It was never about inviting literally anyone who wants to come here to enrich their own lives.
Look at the I can tell you it's not a matter of being able to excel. I promise that.
Like after Vietnam, we let the Laos in or whatever in the Hmong game, and like after fucking 1991 in Desert Storm, the Somalians came. You know, every time.
And how's that working out, Mr. Minnesota? How's that working out? All these
now we got Afghanistan and all these other.
Like really the example you want to use?
Every time we start a conflict, we invite more people over.
Somalis is your example.
Has that enriched America?
Immigrants.
A little bit. It's enriched us a little bit, but
no, it has not.
Everybody shut up. We're gonna let him cook. We're gonna let him cook.
Quality leering centers.
Hold on, let him cook. Everybody shut the fuck up and let Box cook on why the Somalis being here is a good thing for America.
It's not necessarily a good thing. It's just a byproduct.
Yeah, exactly.
I can speak as to why Somalis are a good thing in my area.
All this shit. And we were like, hey, will you spy on your friends and family? And they're like, yeah, we'll spy on our friends and family. Then they spied on their friends and their family. And they're like, hey, man, well, we can't stay here. They'll just kill us. And then they dumped them all in Minnesota.
Don't come.
Because they thought that we could assimilate them.
Remain
we've been trying really hard. We've been trying. Look how white I am. We've been trying real hard for the last 40 fucking years to assimilate these fucks. And it's going
how's that going?
Hey, look, I know why Somalis could be good for the community.
Why are Somalis good for the community, Section 230?
Less dogs and cat strays.
That was the...
Hey!
Okay, so we're going there.
Wait, it wasn't that wasn't the Somalis, that was... They're
eating the Haitians. You're right, it was the Haitians. My bad. My bad.
I'll give
Fair enough.
From a local perspective, I can tell you why Somalis are so great around here. There are 16 beef packing plants within 150 miles of where I live. You know who worked there? About 80% Somalis.
You know who could work there? 80% American citizens.
We still have a football team called the
times as
Packers.
much for your beef.
Why don't they?
And you'll pay 3 times as much for your beef.
No, you won't. We've already went over this.
So, okay.
You clearly don't understand how economics work.
Mike, would you be willing to pay 3 times as much for your beef to make sure that every American citizen had a livable wage?
Yes.
Nope.
Is that a price that you'd be willing to take to make sure that the American people, your countrymen, all have jobs? I don't know if you watched House of Cards with the what the fuck was it called?
Well, wait a minute. A minute ago, it was a livable wage. Now they all have jobs.
No.
There's no such thing as a livable wage. That's a slogan.
Livable wage.
Okay, fine, let's go. Yeah,
livable wage is a slogan. It's not a real number.
So, okay, fine. Yeah, go with whatever you determine is a livable wage.
Yes, I'll pay whatever it costs to make American people.
So
let me make clear the reason that all of them work in those beef packing.
No. If we could, I just want to get a clear yes or no. You would or you would not?
I would or would not what?
Pay 3 times as much for your beef to make sure that all American citizens had a livable wage.
I would not.
Fair enough.
Most Americans would
not. That liberal empathy.
Most Americans would not either. It has nothing to do with
slave labor.
I guarantee they would.
I agree with you, Mike. I agree with you that most people wouldn't. I agree with you.
Wait, back up on this.
But most
people would.
Are pretending
they don't have a choice. They don't have a choice.
Wait. This slave labor thing is a moot point, and I'll tell you why that's fake. Because those people that work in the beef packing plants make really good money. It's not a matter of the fact of how much money they make. It's that Americans will not go do that job because it's too gory, too disgusting, and they won't work there.
You ever seen the show? What's that show? Ice Road Truckers? That's all illegal immigrants, right? Or Crab Wars or Crab Hunters. That's all immigrants, right? Or no. It's the oil rig one. That's all immigrants. Oh, none of those.
None of them.
So it's almost like Americans will do crazy jobs.
Time out. Because have you been to Odessa?
Hold on, wait. Trey's been quiet. Let's give Trey.
I was about to say, because when you was have the oil rigs, have you been to Odessa? Those are a lot of illegals working those oil rigs. Maybe. And again, maybe it's different because they are legit inwoven into our society in Texas. So maybe it is different here. That is different from where y'all are at, and I can understand that, and I can actually feel how that is a thing.
80% of the Permian Basin, yeah.
But my thing is, to a lot of this is that at the end of the day, it comes down to section. I get what you're saying that these can go to American workers. A lot of them niggas is not trying to work them jobs. A lot of them is not. And for the ones who are,
I'm an atheist. Shout out to atheist boxer and atheist too, right?
But for the
I made the comment earlier. I said Christians need all these fucking all this evidence to prove there's pedophiles in the White House, but they believe fucking Jesus died and just rose from the dead without any evidence at all. Give me a fucking break around here. You got to pick a lane, Christians.
So, Muhammad, there you go. You get to pick.
There are several hundred people who saw him come out.
So all of a sudden, we need a whole bunch of evidence for Alex. All of a sudden, we need a whole bunch of evidence for all this other shit. We just can't be fucking good or bad, we need all this evidence, but no, this guy rose absolutely evidence-free, and no one gives a shit. It's wild to me.
Yeah, terrible Christians wanting evidence for both events. Yeah, it's almost like evidence matters. And when they had evidence for one, they accepted it. And when we get the evidence on the other, we'll accept that too, right? It's almost like evidence is important.
We're talking about wait a minute. First off, we're talking about there's a few hundred people that saw Jesus rise from the grave. In the last 30 years, there's been over 10,000 people that said they saw Bigfoot. That ain't true either.
Well, I mean,
Bigfoot is real.
Maybe.
Unless all of a sudden you think that there's a magical 100-year-long hide-and-seek world fucking champion running around out there.
And I do.
There's literally people who dress up like Bigfoot and go out there to spur the theory along.
a small family.
So thinking you see something and actually seeing it is two different things, correct, Mike?
Were you there?
Were you there? What's that kind of question?
there.
Just answer my question.
Never was.
Are they different or not, Mike?
Didn't happen.
People did see it versus thought they saw it.
People saw that.
Hundreds of people.
Who?
And listen, the people who lived there, Mary,
thousands.
Yeah, and the thing is, listen, man, you talk so loud, but you don't even listen. Back then, word of mouth was the predominant method of passing along what had occurred in your area, wasn't it?
So nobody lied. Okay.
No, sure, some people lied, but thousands of them all lied about the exact same thing after actually seeing it?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Thought the story was
apparently we all lied about it.
And then I just jumped it off the deep end, and I don't even
whoa,
feel
you ain't
bad.
taking credit for that. That was Muhammad. That was Muhammad.
Yeah.
Came in. I was like,
Hey, get them off. Get them off.
Muhammad.
This is why out of the tens and hundreds of thousands of UFO sightings that we've decided to have, they didn't start until Roswell. And all of a sudden, everybody heard about that story and it was cool as shit. Oh, fuck, I saw one too.
Well, hey, I mean.
Actually, yeah, people, UFO doesn't mean aliens, right? It means an object that's flying that you can't identify.
I saw a UFO one night, and I still don't know how to explain
nobody ever saw something that was flying they couldn't explain?
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen UFOs.
That's goofy talk.
People would say, you know what? What was that? I don't know. Who cares?
Well, okay, so we'll go. This is gonna be our. We're gonna go off. So chaos time. Going to this question. Everybody gets to answer. We'll yell at each other or whatever. Everybody gets a chance to say the last words, and then we're headed to the after party. So Muhammad, so my real question here is that the Holy Mary is Holy Mary how does a snake Holy Mary a snake? Let's try this again. English is
have another aneurysm.
Yeah, right. My real question here is that Holy Mary snake cause that does
my real question
I tried, brother. I tried to give you the last thing
that does happen is snakes
just
saying.
I tried.
That's that cousin IQ right there.
I know. I tried to help you out there. I'm sorry. It's just as bad as you're reading it.
Hit me again with it, man. I couldn't catch it, man.
My real question here is that is Holy Mary a snake? Because that does happen in snakes. Just saying.
What? Oh.
Christians? Do you
I said all the words. I said all the words.
Catch me out, brother. You know,
it
could have been just as likely. It could have been just as
black
people.
So someone who diddles their cousin, can someone translate that? Do we got any?
Do we have anybody from Alabama?
Oh, I don't know how we.
No, you mean West Virginia?
So Muhammad's just asking about the Immaculate Conception.
Yeah, isn't that a divine conception?
If it
you wouldn't need a human male if it was a divine action.
Conversation. Why? She's a whore. Y'all know she's a whore. Y'all know she just lied. Has anyone ever seen here like a woman lie about the paternity of a child?
As Mike says, were you there?
Are you fucking kidding me?
Were you there?
With all of my experience,
yeah, I was
women
there.
and them rejecting the dude that they actually
Look at the beard.
I've seen that happen.
That's not a several hundred-year-old beard.
Many times. How many times have you seen a baby be born without a father?
Yeah, no, it doesn't happen, dude. It does. We can make excuses.
Yeah, without divinity, it doesn't happen. That's correct.
Okay, so man, divinity.
Okay.
Well, I don't have to prove divinity.
But if you want to,
I don't have to.
That's
the notion of the story. So
oh my shit!
Well, I thought you said we were all yelling at each other. What the fuck?
Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay, fucking chaos. Let's go.
Section's got a good point, but I
y'all shitting on men. Y'all shitting on men here. You're talking about how men can't have fathers.
I've never seen an act of divinity in my entire life, nor have I met anybody who has.
Yeah.
Okay, so just because you don't see a thing doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
We're undermining fathers. We're undermining actual blood and flesh fathers.
CRT.
I wouldn't agree with that because Joseph raised him as if it was his own son.
Well, thank God.
Just like
Okay,
Andrew.
so he still had a father.
You can be a stepdad.
Yeah, you're undermining stepdads.
Yeah, that's
No, okay,
and
no,
Mike,
okay, I would
and
never.
Mike,
I would
is
never. Okay.
there things in this
I'm not
universe
really
that
a
you've never
feminist, but I'm
witnessed
pro
but still
stepdad.
you
exist?
better subscribe after this.
I'm
That Sky Daddy showed up and
stepdad. No,
impregnated some
touche.
girl,
I'm
and then he ended up
I'm
going and
absorbing
running
all
around
these.
on
I'm
top of
absorbing all
water
these
and
errors.
then died and came back to life like a fucking zombie. And everybody decided that all of a sudden we should, well, wait a minute, he's the dad, but he's the son, but he's the Holy Spirit, but he's all of them at the same fucking time. That shit makes no fucking sense.
To a human mind, yeah. To a human mind, it wouldn't.
Have to go that far. What made God? What
Then-
made God?
Wait.
What made God?
Yeah, what I'm saying is you can't explain it to a human mind with human words because
Then you should
God is
never
above
try
all of
to
that.
convince my human mind that that's true.
I'm not trying to convince you of anything. I don't need you to
No
believe
one
it for it to be
ever
true.
convince anyone that that's true because it's
How do
not.
you
Yeah, I'm not trying to convert you.
So section,
I believe it to be. I believe it to be true. That's all.
Section, how can you determine
fair.
what
That's
is?
fair.
Well,
How
I
can you
believe
determine?
I'm not here to
That's an
convert anyone to
unassailable
Christianity.
reason.
I don't give a shit if he believes or
Nobody's
not.
asking you to convert anybody. We're just asking.
Yeah, yeah.
We're just
I
asking
believe the
questions.
reason your name is Section
Don't yell at
230
each other
is
more.
because you were in Section 230 of a parking garage when a rainbow-colored unicorn flew out of your ass. Does that make it true?
Yeah, sure. Of course, it's true
Were
because you believe it.
there? Have you been there?
Yeah, were you there? How do you know a unicorn didn't fly out of my ass?
I believe it. Hallelujah.
You're a believer. Cool.
The rainbow unicorn that flew out of the
So
parking garage.
anyway, hey Mike, do things exist in the universe that you have never witnessed, but they still exist?
Perhaps.
Oh, interesting.
No,
That's good.
absolutely.
Thanks.
Why would you even
And
say
I would
perhaps?
never
Perhaps.
presume to
Don't
be
perhaps.
Yeah. So when you say, "Oh well, I didn't see it, therefore it doesn't exist," it's just nonsense.
So I would
Don't
never
explain.
presume myself so righteous as to think I have an understanding of those things I don't understand yet.
So is it wrong to presume there may be life on another planet, but just because we haven't witnessed it doesn't mean that
And
it's not there, right?
Unicorns flying out of
And
your
there
ass.
might
That's
be.
true.
Yeah, there might be. Yeah.
Life being on other planets does not have.
But that
does not
doesn't
break the
mean
laws
I
of
need to
physics.
worship the unicorns flying out of your ass.
That does break the laws of physics. There being life on other planets does not break the laws of physics.
Yeah, it's just weird ass examples.
But
Do something that could be possible.
Okay, but the point being is that just because I've never seen aliens doesn't mean that aliens can't exist. But that the reason that it
Sure.
can't exist, despite me not seeing it, is because the laws of physics allow it. Whereas a theistic God, where a God can reach into the universe and answer prayers and do miracles and stuff, does break the laws of physics.
Yeah, but do you think a God that powerful would be bound by the laws of physics? Or would he
You
have
think a
control
God
over them
that
too?
powerful would lead us to this kind of life? Do you think a God that powerful
You mean
would
give
lead
you
us
free
to
will
living-
to do things however you want?
Even more
maybe.
importantly,
Instead of
There's
playing
one
you like a
kind of
marionette?
Why couldn't he could have made heaven here?
there's a principle called Occam's razor, which is the simplest explanation is probably the right one. And the simplest explanation is that somebody made a bunch of cockamamie ass stories in order to justify pulling off atrocities on people they didn't fucking like in the name of somebody because they said Sky Daddy told them to.
There's always some kind of rationalization, like, "Oh, he gave us free will," and it's like, no,
They wouldn't need a story to do that,
This
Bob.
could be heaven. This could be
Prove
heaven.
string theory.
Our own test could be in actual heaven. Imagine the test happened in heaven instead of on earth. Imagine this kind of test happened in heaven, where you were given everything you wanted, you had everything you wanted, there was no pain, no one ever died. Imagine being tested in heaven instead of
That
here.
already existed.
Being tested here is weak sauce compared to what God could have set up if he wanted to, if he wasn't doing it in a Fortnite.
It is
Half
much
the
more
Fortnite.
easy to understand that this is a bunch of made up cockamamie stories in order to get people to justify doing dumb shit to other people. Deistic religion is the number one justification for more murder, genocide, and atrocity in human history than anything else I could think of, including Genghis Khan.
Disagree.
Okay, so
You think Genghis Khan was a Christian?
No, I think
No.
Do you think he
including
believed in any God? Do you think that the leaders of China cared about God at all? They killed millions of people.
China just barely came up. To be
Do you
fair,
think
China
Hitler
is one
cared about
Iraq war ahead of us. China is one Iraq war ahead of us. We went
They're
off
like
and we did
40
Iraq
million
war,
people ahead of
and
us at
China
least.
just replicated what we were doing without the war.
So okay. So I want to shift into closing this down. I think maybe we could find some common ground here. I don't know how Muhammad really came in and fucking.
This has been invigorating. I'd love to find common ground.
There we go. So I want to try to tie the two things together. Is there a way that we can use the so for the Christians? Is there a way that you can use your Christian faith or your Christian ethics to justify why we are so strongly against immigration and vice versa? For the top row, I mean, I'm kind of the enigma, and I got my feet in both camps. But for the top row, for the atheists who are pro illegal immigration, is there a way that you can show a contradiction in Christian theology or Christian ethics or Christian thinking that should lead to Christians saying, yeah, illegals, come on in?
Absolutely.
So let's go to Box first.
No, I missed most of that whole question. Basically,
okay, so,
I would like to just ask the question, like, is there anything that we could say to the people that believe in God that would be able to disavow them of their belief in God? And is there anything that I could say to the atheists that could make them believe in God? Is there any fault on this? Like if like,
that's a really
I'm just gonna I know I understand I sidestepped your whole question. I'm just wondering that if there's anyone that could be convinced of the other side at this point, or like to just kind of like highlight the idea of if this is even a conversation worth having versus like,
okay, anyway, so going back to what I said, is there any atheist on the panel who can point out a Christian ethic, Christian logic, Christian whatever that should lead to Christians saying, yes, illegal immigration is not as bad as you're saying it is, and the Christians can do the opposite? So Mike,
I can't. Do you want me to go first or
yeah, go ahead, Mike.
All right. The Bible consistently commands love, protection, justice for everything like they called strangers, foreigners, sojourners, refugees. I mean, there's verses all the way through. I mean, it's Leviticus and Deuteronomy and Exodus, all the way up to Matthew to Galatians. I mean, it's all over the place, all through the Bible, talking about how you're supposed to love and embrace these people as if they are your people among you. And that is counterintuitive to this whole rampant nationalistic garbage that we're trying to spew out, that somehow people say is akin to Christian doctrine when it's wholly not. It's 180 degrees against it. And if you are of the Christian faith, I think it's quite frankly a spit in God's eye to do that.
Fair enough. All right. So Trey,
I'll go.
I know you're ready to go. So that's why I want to hear what Trey has to say first, because I know you've got a lot. So what do you think of what Mike said, Trey?
I think he's on mute. Trey, you're on mute, dude.
Give him a minute. Sometimes he's fussing with the baby. The baby. No.
The baby.
5, 4, 3, 2, section. You're on.
All right. So drop some bombs here. Yeah, you're right. In the Bible, it does say to love them and all of this. That doesn't mean give them free stuff and pay their way through life and let them ride your back through the whole thing. It always talks about charity, and charity is a volunteer thing, not a force through the government. We have to pay for everyone else in everyone's country and all of this and let them come in and mooch off of us. It also talks a lot about people doing things that follow the laws of the country that they live in. And it also talks about pulling your own weight and doing things the right way and living a just and righteous life. And so, you know who does the most charity in America? Christian and non-denominational organizations. So when you talk about loving your neighbors, well, why don't you as an atheist start doing more donations to these countries that you love so much? How many illegals live with you right now?
Christians do not.
No. Yes, they do. They absolutely do. They do. The overwhelming majority of charity that comes out of America is from Christians.
Yeah, it's Christian
so how many
organizations.
illegals?
It is. It's
how many illegals live with you?
Christian organizations.
How many live with me?
I can see that. It's true. You guys are really good.
Hell, at least 24.
You have 24 illegals living with you right now.
Yeah, you want to call ICE?
Yeah, you're a liar.
You want to call ICE?
You're both lying.
I will not.
No, I don't. It wouldn't help to call ICE because I don't know you or where you live. But you know you're lying.
Come on,
bad faith. Bad faith.
Christian idea now, like,
show us.
Love your own enemies, man. I'm not going to love my own.
They can cover their face. Just show us.
No.
Yeah, exactly. It's a lie and it's bad faith. That's all. Which is fine. You can do that.
Like I said, right here in the block.
It proves my point just the same.
And so
proves my point just the same.
So Angry Amputee showed, yes, the Bible describes borders both in terms of specific land boundaries for nations, especially the Promised Land for Israel.
Yep.
And
shout out Amp.
Shout out Israel.
Fucking sucks, dude. Israel should die.
All right. The concept of having nations distinct geographical limits established by God as seen in passages from Numbers, Exodus, and Acts. These biblical borders serve to define identity, governance, and purpose, though they were often understood in relation to vast promised territories and were sometimes challenged by nomadic movements or regional conflicts. So we got the Promised Land, divine establishment, all this stuff.
Oh, there's that divinity thing again.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of where this all stems from.
So we've got divine establishment, which we had one for that. I mean, we had about 12 books of the Bible that speak to being hospitable to immigrants, but we're not doing that.
Sure we are.
No, we're not.
How are we not being hospitable to them? We haven't killed them. They're an invading people. We don't go out shooting them in the street.
Somebody is not.
That's a good point. God damn.
I mean, when what is a wartime scenario when if China were to send 30 million of their troops over here, would we shoot them or would we invite them in?
The closing thing that I'm going to say about all of this is that I guarantee you, I would trust 15 Mexicans in a 15-passenger van with a paper tag on it that said their name is Beverly and a tote of burritos before I would trust one MAGA.
Go live in Mexico and say that.
I knew exactly where you were going with that. I felt every word of that. It's absolutely true. For real, though.
Fair enough. All right.
My test on this whole situation is: are you willing to fight for America? Right? There's two different kinds of people in this world, as far as I can tell. There's the kind of people that want to enlist for a military, and there's those that won't. And that's all that defines us: is will you enlist when we need you? If you don't enlist when we need you, then fuck off. I absolutely understand exactly what you are at that point.
I don't think we have time to talk about the veterans that were deported, but no,
it's all horrible. Yeah, we're deporting people that don't need to be deported. That's the other side of it.
Yeah, that's
I haven't seen any proof of that.
There was that one girl. There was that one girl early on that was really bad.
So at the early on, and did they bring her back when they found out they were wrong? And did they fix the system?
And I'm also understanding that when we have millions and millions and millions and millions of people, some people are going to fall through the cracks.
Accidents might happen, but they're talking like it's happening left and right, and that's just ridiculous.
All right, here's what are we going to do before we head over to the after party? So
I don't know where the after party's at. Sorry, man.
I'll drop a link to the Discord, and remember, guys, if you join the Discord before the stream is over. Remember, it's a free Discord, but the after party is for members only. However, if you click that link, or if you're on vertical right there, if you click it, I can see who joins. If you join before the end of the stream, or if you've been on the panel, then you get to come and hang out.
Okay, well, don't kill the stream because I'm doing it right now.
All right, word up. I'll see ya. Boom. I see him there. Oh, wait. Well, boom. And just like that.
Stay well, everyone.
Just like that. Okay. Well, I was gonna give them the floor, but then let's go. Section, you came up first, so we will give you the floor. Any final words, things to shout out, things coming up, whatever. The floor, sir, is yours.
Sure. My final words would be, if you haven't already hit that like button, you better go do it. If you ain't sending in super chats and stuff, the least you could do to support a streamer is hit like and subscribe. It costs you absolutely nothing. And I don't have any socials or channels that anyone should go look for or anything like that. I don't do none of that. I just occasionally come up on panels and such. So it's all to the man Lutch here.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so very much for the conversation, brother. I'm sure you will be back. You have a good one. All right, Mike, it's just you and me. So, again, I'm going to give you the floor. If you have a channel, if you have social media, if you have stuff that you want to say and you want to take a 3-minute rant, go for it, sir. The floor is yours.
Thank you kindly, my friend. Yes, I do have a channel. It's not a big deal. It's not even in near this kind of niche. I make stuff, as you can tell. I mean, Mike is making stuff. It's a channel. If you guys want to come check me out, I try to show people.
What stuff do you make? Tell them what kind of stuff you make. Tell them what kind of stuff you make.
I actually preach self-sufficiency. I try to show people how to repurpose things that they may find, rebuild, fighting planned obsolescence. I can't stand that they build things to break. So I try to pass on a lot of stuff that I've learned over the years from my grandparents, my great-grandparents, and show people how to be, a little bit more self-sufficient and not have to rely on just running to the store and paying for a solution to a problem. That's the big one for me.
Beautiful. What's the name of the channel?
At Mike is Making Stuff. I think there's dashes in between it, but
Mike is making stuff?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's got a really weird AI version of me with the side profile.
We're going, oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Hold on. Don't leave yet. Copy and paste and subscribe. And link is in the chat. Everybody go give Mike, maker of stuff, a sub, and go check out the stuff that he makes. Mike, thank you so very, very much for hanging out.
Cigarette count probably about 8 or 9. I'm burning them pretty hard tonight.
Sounds this account. Yeah, there you go. Thank you so much for hanging out. And hope to see you again, brother.
Thanks for having me, man.
Have a good one. All right. Well, damn. Box said Mike is all right. He is not evil. Agreed. I like to have, a little bit more of a what do you call it? A spectrum of ideas and stuff like that. So, I mean, like I said in the chat, I think this is the first time I've ever been on a panel, and it's been mostly atheists. It's weird. It's fucking weird. I'm not used to it. Let's see what you guys are saying. Everybody said I'm going to sub to Mike, but I still want to replace him as a in the US. Fair enough. Mjolnir said roughly 14.7 million people that are illegal aliens are from Islamic countries imported during the Biden administration.
Haram!
Yikes. Sexual trade liberty for Mike. No comment. No comment, but the Darking I saw before you asked, shout out to Funkmaster General, who just be throwing them memberships. So again, the link that I dropped, if you join, you have access to all of the member stuff. Welcome to the party. But hey, you held your own, bro. And I mean, I feel like I tried to make sure nobody was getting ganged up on, but sometimes when you Christians get in, sometimes I just want to see it. Y'all do it to me. Sometimes I just want to see it. And at the very last minute, we got God herself. Morty looked up, so fuck it. Let's give him a treat. Just for Maryland. Thank you. Are you on vertical? Oh, yeah, you're there. You can see it. Look at him. Guys, thank you so very, very much for hanging out. A big shout out to all of the donations. You guys came in hot. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Thank you, thank you, thank you so very, very much. Are you on? You didn't see him from? Oh yeah, you can see it, right? Yeah, he blends in, but he hears that horn. He's like, treat. Every donation gets a treat, guys. We were $3 away. We were $4 away. No push-ups for me. Let's fucking go. Hell yeah. Yeah. Oh! Oh! Come on! Shout out. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I was this close. I was this close to getting free money. I was this close to getting free money. Oh, man. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you, Marilyn. Oh, fuck you. Fuck you. Now you're just fucking with me. Oh, fuck. Oh, I was like, I'm listening to 1 year. I was like, why did it only come out 1 year? Boom. Oh, man. Even with the fucking Maryland, I was like, all right, you know, hey, Vay, what does that even add up to? All right. So that is, so we had, Maryland had the 5. So we were at 76. So I'm just going to put that there. So I'm bad at math. And then, no, I don't need that. So that was that. $106. All right, I'm cutting it the fuck off. Guys, thank you. And you know what that means. I shouldn't have said anything. I should have been like, all right, bye. But you know what it is. It is time. Guys, you've paid me. Now you've got to pay yourselves. If you're not sure what the fuck is going on, oh, there we go. Found the right one, right? If you're not sure what's going on, if we hit the goal, every donation or every $2, there's another push-up that I have to do. And we are at 106, so that's 53 push-ups. Look how fucking puny I am. All right, here we go. Ready? You paid me. Now pay yourselves. If you can't do 50, do 40. If you can't do 40, do 20. If you can't do 20, do 10. Just do something. Let's go. And then we're headed to the after party. Fuck. I was looking at it and I was going to even be like, hey guys, remember, if you like panels and guests, then make sure you donate. And I was like, you know what? I'll get out easy on this one. Not. Is that going to work? Nope. Oh, Jesus. Feed Morty the Overlord. All right, 50. Here we fucking go. See, I really am that short. Like, this is just a normal fucking thing. All right, here we go. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39. Just a little break. Just a little break. I'm puny, all right? I'm puny. Give me a fucking minute. Give me a fucking minute. That's 40. 4, 0. All right, 13. 13. Lucky 13. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. One, 2. Did the music not start? Oh, it is. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 1. For good luck, let's fucking go! Let's go! I didn't like that. I didn't like it at all. Boom. Coming. Sam. Sorry, what are you guys saying? Hey, and Mike is a new member. Thank you, thank you, thank you so very, very much for signing up. Very much appreciated. Just catch my breath. Just catch my breath. All right. Thank you, sir. And welcome. Yeah, right? Exactly. I told you. We're working on it. All right? We're working on it. We're working on it. Look at this. We're working on it. We're working on it. I have a real job, so I don't have to work out anymore. Fair? Fair? Wait, you didn't hear the music? Oh, I stopped the screen share. I stopped the screen share. Well, now that just for the sake of it, since we're chit-chatting. God damn it. All right. The color of what? There we go. Push her pecs. Yep. I do. I mean, I feel like in terms of stuff for, I'm more worried about my triceps. Like, there's nothing here. But like, definitely my chest is little insecure. You know, I'll wear a t-shirt, but I ain't taking my shirt off. You know what I mean? I did an extra one. There you go. I read God's mind, and I did an extra one. There you go. Thank you, Dick. A little bit of fucking encouragement. Jesus. Shout out to VLC. Skull Crushers. I don't even know what that is. And Preacher Crows. We definitely gotta, work on some other stuff like that. But the thing is, I can't, like, if I do them perfectly, like if I go all the way to the down to the ground, there's no fucking way I could do 50 of those. We're working up. We're gonna do some bullshit ones, and then I'll get better at those, and I'll get stronger and stronger and stronger through those. There we go. Right? Baby steps. And it's all from you guys. Like I said, if God tells you to go all the way down, go all the way down. Already did. Don't believe in God. Let's fucking go! I actually spent one day as a pool boy. I was a pool boy, open and closing pools. And Mike said, I bet immigrants could do 50 push-ups. One day, I fell through a pool cover, and I was just like, you know what? This is a sign. I'm not doing this. Fuck this shit. Now, I'm a dog trainer, and I do this. It's much easier. One day. Exactly. That is why you should subscribe, guys. We have live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, and sometimes whenever I feel like it, going live whenever I feel like it. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. But you know that YouTube sucks for those notifications, so you may as well ring that bell so you never miss an Indian Jesus live party ever again. Once again, guys, I know that you could be spending your time doing anything else in the world. And here you are hanging out with me and the Overlord. And we very, very, very much appreciate just you being here, just you being part of the conversation. A big shout out to all of the donations and a very big shout out to all of the disciples and members of the Moral Felon crew. Hopefully I will see you in the after party. Once again, guys, this is Morty, and I have been your host, Lutch, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Until next time, guys, we are out of here.